a police officer put his hand in the man's vehicle and took the man's key.
No right
that is a disrespect of the man's rights and property.
That's not just a disrespect. That is violating the man's rights.
And that is trespassing on property, my brother.
Right away, that man is not a police, he's a thief. He's a thief. He cannot just come in your property or your liability and just think he's going to do what you want. Let me tell you something, boy. All the police officers are thinking that the law is not your hand on, you can do what all you want. But no man is bigger than the Constitution, and I own in all the officers and the people of Dominica. The day will come when the people cannot take it no more, you know, man. Have respect for people, boy. You have to respect people's property, Asta. You can't just come in a man's property and think you're going to take the man's key from his vehicle. You're supposed to have a warrant to enter the man's vehicle. You're supposed to have a court order to want to enter the man's vehicle, my boy. Nothing giving you the right to do that, boss. If the man had decided to take a stand differently this morning, what it would have been? Look, he still decide whether he's going to take a, he can't allow you to do that. Instead of you show some form of respect, my boy, and agree that all you make a mistake, or you rather brutalize the young man.
No, so now, Pyro, you see the video, man, of the partner getting brutalized.
Why you see that, boy?
Okay, so look, my question to you. Look, my question to all you gentlemen. There was like 7 police on one individual. None of them trying to restrain him. All of them throwing hands like it's gang fight.
Yeah, man.
A police come from nowhere and hit the man a kick and then stand up there like gang fight. Pyro always alluding to the type of training that these police officers does do and taking before they enter service. This is a clear example of the police cannot work in Dominica. Because you cannot have 7 police throwing punches at a man. Punches. Not trying to detain him. 7 police throwing punches at a man. And people have to take that serious. 7 police gonna be throwing punches on a man.
Well, good night to everyone. The first issue with the police, first of all, the police drive around, walk around in military fatigue. Military fatigue is not police uniform, my brother, that is military uniform. Check.
You see that one already, man, coach?
You cannot be police officers. Why should police officers be walking around in military fatigue with big machine guns? Check me, on a civilian population. We are not at war. Our country is not in dispute with any other country. So just the whole ideology of the police walking around in the whole military fatigue thing, that alone is already a problem. That alone is an issue. Now them man is like, them man don't get in police training. Them man get in their military training. Them man coming on the road with their aggressive nature, their aggressive behavior. Police supposed to be the ones that resolving or containing issues in, not the ones that instigated and creating the issues.
Creating the problem.
You're supposed to be the ones that safeguarding the people in confines of the law. Instead, we have the police officers behaving like a bunch of thugs. Yeah, a bunch of little folks on the street. You see a policeman running up on a man.
7 police throwing hands.
Mr. working in traffic tomorrow morning, I go over there.
Boy, and tell Mr. something, boy. Mr. have to. Not the next thing we kick. What about the police officer that shoot the man with the rubber bullet close range, my brother? My brother, they shoot people. That is a joke, my brother. That is a violation. 2 police officers clear on video. One violate a man, another one shoot a man with another violation. Them man have to be fired from the force.
You have how many police officers on the man?
You shooting the man. You shooting the man in his back. In his back. In his back.
Yeah, we're gonna make a move there.
You shooting the man in his back like a coward, my brother.
The rain is disturbing.
My brother. I didn't expect a ring tonight. No, no boy.
Why, hey, I tell you now, the truth, I didn't see that before we go down to the
No.
real thing I tell you now, the
And I asking the police, I hear they shoot up, man.
I go down to the
I hear they shoot up, man tell me, no, you don't hear that. The police, I asking that.
Yeah, that's all.
Oh, you got something on the transport? I'll check it.
What the man doing is totally unlawful. You cannot do this kind of thing to people, my boy. You have to respect the people. People have a right to protest like these things when it is not right. It is the duty of every citizen to protest when things are not going right in your country. We are not second-class citizens, you know. We didn't take vote to come to Dominica, you know. We born and raised in Dominica, you know. And instead the officers think of protecting the people because they decide to protest for better, and the better is not for the people alone now. The same police officers and them enjoying it with. The police, no raise for the police officers, they are civil servants same way. You understand, 0.0% for them, my boy, and you mean to tell me that is how you have to be treating your people, that providing a salary on your...
But you're the people's servant, and at the end of the day, you have no fault of that. You consider to yourself you as the boss. And you're not the boss, the people is your boss.
But that's what
the people that paying your salary.
Taxpayers that paying you.
So at the end of the exercise, you can't come around and disrespect the population.
The man's serving politicians rather than serving the
that's
public.
wrong. That's why one of the mandates of when they're supposed to get their training, they're supposed
Our
to
problem
learn
in Dominica, my
the
people.
Constitution, at least the basics of the Constitution. That's supposed to be evident in the training.
And that is what a lot of the police officers even know.
But they don't know
the
that.
Constitution.
As I played
They don't know the Constitution. They just speak out because the police, whatever they say goes. That cannot work like that, brother.
Remember Ramsing Scarrett?
No man is higher than the Constitution.
Remember Ramsing Scarrett days when Scarrett make this statement that he have a problem now. Fellas just coming up and show up and say, oh my pal rep send me. I go up.
Why when we was by the police station did they come and kick on a verse?
No, they have to know when Monkey Note traders flying.
Come and kick on a verse. A policeman telling us,
Monkey Note traders.
don't come too close to the gate and make noise. I tell him, Panda, my mother don't die and live there for me. Neither your mother die and live there for you. There's public place.
Of course.
They're not our mother estate she live for, none of us. Okay? Public place that there. Unless if I need a bottle of water in the canteen, it's supposed to open the gate from the part and go and water.
And one of them days, you yourself might have not be selling inside there.
Okay.
You don't come play like this from here already there.
It's for all of us.
Yeah, man. And when they reach there, they have to take it, you know.
And these are the people that are supposed to be upholding the law.
Oh,
and
yeah.
this right now, what I'm seeing, the police officers, they're breaking the law. They're violating the law. They refuse to uphold the law. So we live in an unethical place right now.
And the biggest problem to that is the court. Because at the end of the day, the court doesn't want to address those matters when it comes to themselves.
And
Well, you
give
see,
people justice.
And if we get
have
the
to take
justice
a
for the
look
court,
I want to take a look at that book from Ali Clara.
oh yeah man, I will go for that, I will go for that because
I mean, we're speaking about our constitution and rights and the violation of those rights. Okay?
And right there.
So yeah, I really want to just read a little bit from the book, you know, where it's saying our duty, chapter 11. The Constitution, the Government and You, right, by Ali Lawrence. Chapter 11, our duty as citizens, right? And it says here, it is the duty of every Dominican to strive to be a patriot. And it defining what is a patriot, it goes on to say, a patriot is a person who loves, supports, and serves his country and is prepared, if necessary, to die for it. Patriotism cannot be conferred upon a person, neither can it be taken away from him. Every Dominican is born with the inherent ability to be a patriot. So, I mean, If it is our duty to be a patriot, and the patriot is showing you what a patriot is supposed to be.
The extent.
You have to support your country. So if you see in things, illegal activities, the police abusing the rights of people, because we live in a democracy, you know, and this trend of the police goes to China, they get training based on communism. They don't get training based on democracy. They check, how can we be sending police to a communist state to train in a communist environment, in a communist education, right?
A communist
to come and
brutality.
serve as in a democratic society, and they are the ones.
Right to the people.
They are the ones that's supposed to be upholding the law. You check. So you're learning communist law. You're sending the police to learn communist law and communist strategy in a system where the people are being but it's in a system where the people are being oppressed by their own government. And we're sending our police to that state, right, to learn these systems, these methods of oppressing their people. And they come back to Dominica, and this is what they are doing presently, implementing what they learn in China, some of them, and they're training others, you know, whereas they should be learning about democracy, you know. And I want to read some more from the same chapter 7, because it goes on to say what the citizen, what is our duty as citizen, and it says we have to be loyal. Our allegiance is to Dominica, not to no political party.
No individual.
You know, and there it's saying it, every patriot must be unquestioning or unswervingly loyal to Dominica. He must love Dominica over every other country. That is why you're not supposed to have dual citizenship as a parliamentary representative or a member of parliament. You know,
You're not supposed to run the state as a foreign.
he must not align with or give support to the enemies of Dominica. Neither must he seek to undermine the country, its government and institutions. Allegiance to Dominica must not be confused with allegiance to a political party.
You write that, Pyro?
Alec Lawrence, my brother, about the offer. Alec Lawrence is a member of the Dominica Labour Party.
And he have been
Scarlet lawyer,
he have been so loyal
Hotel
to Skerrit
developer.
for how much years?
developer under the CBI program where he's
How much
developing the
years
hotel.
He preventing Dominicans from getting voters right.
So these people are knowingly,
Oh yeah.
consciously breaking the law and
Maliciously.
oppressing us Dominicans, because look, he write it in his book.
Alright.
Allegiance to Dominica must not be confused with allegiance to a political party. You check me, page 94, where goes on to say, to serve Dominica, the life of a patriot must be spent in the service of his country. You check, this does not mean that he must be employed by the state or that he must remain in Dominica. It means that in whatever place or situation he finds himself, he should strive to use it to advance Dominica. The patriot must always be willing to render voluntary service and to mobilize his skills, resources and contacts for the development of Dominica. You know, so when we decide to take that stand against a government that is selling our resources as a country to enrich their own selves, it's not for us, it's for our country. We're doing it for our country. We cannot sit by and witness the police brutalizing people. People are standing up for their rights in a democracy and not say or do nothing about it. You check? So we as a people, we have to come together. More than ever, we have to come together to fight this beast. And every day, we're getting more and more reasons why we should. Today was a perfect example of police brutality for the world to see. You check? It's not just us that see it. The entire world witnessed that. That thing was gone viral. That was being aired on the internet. So right now people are doubting their mind about the brutality of the police. The violation of people's rights. Well, we're supposed to be in a democracy. How can the police want to brutalize a man for protesting? Right? And the Constitution, even right here in Ali Clarence's book, it goes on, you know, it telling you your fundamental rights and freedoms. Every person in Dominica has certain rights and freedoms that are so important that they are given special mention and protection in the Constitution. They are called fundamental rights and freedoms. These rights and freedoms cannot be taken away or restricted by the state, except in very limited circumstances outlined by the same Constitution. The right to life, slowly life was taken away to this day. Not one answer from the police who killed Kerwin Prosper in the custody of the Dominica Police Force. His constitutional right was violated. You know, he had a right to life like every other human being on this planet. We all have a fundamental right to life. You know, this is established under the United Nations. It is enforced in our Constitution. We check, we all have a right to life. We have a right to personal liability. Personal liability refers to a person's right not to be arrested or detained. Every person is guaranteed this right, but it is a subject to a number of exceptions provided the exceptions are authorized by law. And that is what we're talking about. You need to have a process, and it is a process of scientific procedure under the law, where you have to provide evidence and you have to provide certain documents like a search warrant, certain things to this. You cannot just arbitrarily come and tell a man you're arresting him without no justification and no nothing. You check. So, Ali Clarence, you know, look it, you know, Ali Clarence. You check. Look, Ali Clarence. Look him right there, Ali Clarence. His book, The Constitution, Your Government, and Me.
Papayro, not even, before even all those chapters written in the book, Ali Clarence writes, no society such as ours can advance without a common understanding of its constitution, legal processes, and civic history. Exactly. Such an understanding is the fuel which will propel the ordinary citizen to commit to doing the work of development which no foreign ally can do for us. And
important.
That is a very important quote in that book,
yes,
you know, Pyro.
It is important.
No society such as ours can advance without a common understanding of its constitution, legal processes, and civic history.
Exactly.
Such an understanding is the fuel which will propel the ordinary citizen to commit to doing the work of development which no foreign ally can do for us.
Yet still, what we see in Dominica,
Chinese,
and we calling it development.
Chinese.
Look it again, Ali Clarence defining for us, my brother. We don't have to go far. The same book, Ali Clarence. You check? He's defining it for us, my brother. What the development
No, you see that?
is we the people, the society, not foreign people coming and do our work for us.
No.
They ask a question, Mujo. Was you not same lawyer on the legal team for scared as a dual citizenship?
I'm not too sure.
We have to look into it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Because I mean, you're in the bedroom.
True.
You can watch right there. How many years Mr. sitting down on the electoral commission?
He's still
Yeah, in lateral.
Nobody was, and at the time he was, regardless of he had written the book. He had written the book already.
True, true.
Yeah.
And you watch him
Yes, the book was written in 2007.
You understand? So within your
Published in
conscience,
2007.
You're doing this kind of thing.
within your
January
conscience, you watching me and telling me,
No, I have the opinion, you're not to do, that this book that Alec Lawrence has written should be in the school system as of September.
Yes.
yeah,
And
even-
nothing less than that.
and even in the police station.
Because
Every school.
the great deceiver said he want to put civics in school.
Yeah.
And this book
He's already prepared.
is already prepared for the Dominican society. It doesn't need research.
At all.
It's good to go.
Much that enough,
It's
bro.
published,
To add to what you were just
I
saying
can tell
there.
you that another one there.
To add to what you were just saying, right in the forward of the book, right, Alec Lawrence is making the observation that over the years, I have been continually surprised by how little the general public knows about the Dominican Constitution and the workings of the government. Part of the reason for this lack of knowledge is that these things are not taught in our schools. Further, there is no book presently written which deals with these matters. So Alec Lawrence observed and realized that there was no book that was dealing with our constitution that could be used in our schools, and he went on to produce one which could be used in our schools. You see what he have on the cover? Two school children.
That's
right.
all his children not there.
Boy.
You understand?
But we pictures of his
Two
children
school
not there.
children. A book which was written with the intention of educating school children on our constitution, our government, and you as a citizen within the society.
As far back as 2007.
So what happened? After you write that book, you was influenced.
Let's not stick with let's
The
stick to
influence
book
had to come
and
somewhere
the
along the
information.
line.
Yeah, because know what the author
Let's
of the,
stick
the
to the
author
book
of
and
the
the
book,
information.
the author of the book, I mean, have to go with the book, you know.
So right here in Dominica, we have a textbook written by one of our brilliant lawyers, Alec Lawrence, which can be utilized in the school system with immediate effect. So the people in the ministry and the Prime Minister that say he want to teach civics, and Raymond Blackmore, Minister of Security, September, that's supposed to be in the school system.
The curriculum.
It's $30, and it can give us a good deal, man.
That's the August.
Oh, for your
And it can give us a good deal,
That's the
man.
August what the Prime Minister said.
That's what I said. He's going to introduce civics by September.
September
And
long come and
now,
gone.
we've done the research for him. We found an appropriate textbook for a certain age group, I would say from 6, from reading to second form. And from second form, you go to the big book. But it is right there written for the education of the people. And we do expect it to be in the school system.
Definitely. Of course. Every library, in every school.
Yes, because that book has a lot
Yeah, man.
of critical information for building
That-
citizens.
Remember that after you
course.
review.
Yes.
That's after
ESF,
you review the constitution,
Yes.
you write the book.
the piece you just read there for, where ESF telling you how the society cannot develop without the knowledge of the constitution.
Right.
Alec Lawrence is saying that our society cannot develop as a democracy without the citizens having the knowledge of what the constitution is. And we cannot depend on foreign entities.
To do that for us.
So it is written right there in Alec Lawrence's book.
In other words, yeah, The confidence of the nation is built on knowledge of their processes, not what foreigners bring in. So we have to have confidence in ourselves as a people, in what we can achieve.
That's why every nation has its traditional culture.
In that same book, the man telling you to develop ourselves.
That's what it is.
Right, that is in chapter 11, 93. Page 93 or 97, you will see it, to develop ourselves. Right? In order that a patriot can serve Dominica to the best of his ability, he must develop himself to the best of the ability. That this means that in whatever field he find himself, whether a student, farmer, professional or laborer, the patriot must try to excel so that his contribution to Dominica can be maximized. Dominica is our own to develop. If we do not step forward and as patriots to take this lead, to take the lead in this development process, we will soon find ourselves as second class citizens in our own country, my people.
It's national awareness.
Thank you very much.
Yes, my brother. Yes.
Written by Ali Florence.
That is simply to show us
No,
what type of
I
people
never-
we are in our own.
I didn't see that.
Development is being going
I
on,
didn't see that
and it
one
is being
there.
done by foreigners, brother man. One is that we have to take our country back from these people.
For sure,
Our
that
country
is-
is being
too long,
given
eh?
away to Chinese and other foreigners.
No.
You know
I
what
never
great
see that,
examples we have in
man.
Northwest Western, my brother?
Okay.
Yeah, we
You
foreign
know what very
countries next to the
what blows before I'm sticking up
Say
one for us?
tongue on that for all you boys. Alright, I want you to know all you.
Remember, the man write that book after he
We taking no good
he-
things
he-
from me.
Yes,
man.
People of Dominica, all of us.
All of us.
All of us, it's for all of us.
I'm telling it to you.
Who have eyes can see. Let them see.
The man telling it to you, and today, the same man
I tell you.
is one of the people responsible for the oppression of Dominicans.
That why I ask, that why-
Of us as a society, as a people, you know. Check it. And for what?
love of money.
Yes.
Nothing else. Greed.
Greed.
Yeah, man. Greed.
Because look, he could speak the truth in his book. In 2007 when he published it, right?
Yeah.
Make millions out of it.
In 2021.
14
Fast
years
forward
Yeah.
14 years, and in that 14 years process, Alec Lawrence has been one of the people responsible for the oppression of
Less than 14
Dominica.
years.
Yeah, in less than 14 years.
years.
that's
What's
right.
selling?
During 14
Still, why
years,
they
and
tell
even
people
more.
they need to empower themselves by reading our constitution and
Yes.
this type of books.
Yes.
Because here you go,
absolutely.
that same book is telling us about our president. You understand? Let me get it for you. The
Constitution.
president,
Yeah, I mean,
page 43.
rule of the president.
Mind take the money. Quote.
functions of the president.
Read it good, no?
The main function of the parliament is to pass law to parliament.
No. Read on chapter 5, 53.
The man there.
Dominica is a republic.
Right.
Unlike most of the Commonwealth Caribbean states,
And I'll expect
its
that
head of
to
state
be-
is not the English monarch.
Right.
Dominica's head of state is the president. There are some countries such as Guyana, France, and the United States where the president is responsible for managing the country. Such a president is referred to as an executive president. In Dominica, on the other hand, the president is not responsible for running the country. That job is left to the prime minister and ministers. As a result, the president can be described as a ceremonial president. His duties are very limited, but their importance should not be underestimated.
Okay.
Double cliche.
Election of the president. where the office of the president is vacant, or is about to become vacant, a new president is elected in the following manner. In the following manner, if the prime minister if the prime minister and the leader of the opposition can agree on a cabinet, on a candidate, thereinfore the speaker of the parliament and that person is deemed to be elected president. If the prime minister and the leader of the opposition cannot agree on the candidate, then the president is elected by the parliament by a simple majority. The candidate may be nominated by the prime minister, the leader of the opposition, or any free members of parliament. A candidate for president must be at least 40 years old and must have resided in Dominica for at least 5 years immediately before his nomination. Additionally, he must not be the holder of any other public. I'm going to read that again. Additionally, he must not be the holder of any other public office or be engaged in any other operation for which he is paid. For which he is paid. Furthermore, a person is disqualified from being elected president if he is a minister of religion, bankrupt, insane, under a sentence of death, or if by his own act he is under allegiance to other countries. So we have a president that has been elected, and I don't think there was no agreement between our opposition leader and the leader of.
When they choose him to be president, he was a minister.
Which is the prime minister, and he still was a minister, which is not supposed to be.
That was
So
the
he
first.
always-
He was holding a public office already.
Yeah, that was the first violation.
From a public office to
You see,
president.
you see,
My boy, that is the book Ali
My brother.
Lawrence who wrote that book.
you see that the constitution.
And that is from
Ali
the
Lawrence
constitution.
that wrote that book.
And he's the one that sit down on the same
Let us be
electoral
real.
committee. And
The
we
president
review.
we have in Dublin.
He was
Ali
The
Lawrence.
man was minister of what? He was minister of what?
Sarah.
Yes.
He was in security.
Security minister.
Ministry of
Alright.
Security of State or something.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Security.
And from that, 2 days after, he's president of
Become
Dominica.
president,
Unethical things, unlawful things is going on in our country. Pure corruption.
Because we the people do not know the rules of engagement. So them man find they can take advantage of the masses because the masses stupid, the masses cannot follow along. You really think what Alec Lawrence said there to
Yeah,
right?
man, in the constitution, from the constitution transferred to him under clarification, and at the end of the exercise, he himself
Take advantage of the ignorance.
of
Yes.
the people, which he
Yes.
stated, you know.
Yes.
Surprise.
That
Or
at the end of the
lead to
day, the
general
people know.
public knows about the
Thank you
constitution.
very much. So that's why they have to take advantage of the people.
I tell you,
The man said he's surprised to see how little the general public
Oh, yeah.
knows about the
About-
constitution.
No, that gives clarification to what? At the end of the exercise, when we have calendar events like how they call it, Emancipation Day, and them kind of time there. What we normally see people doing, go on the beach have fun, kill each other, all this kind of thing. Abuse yourself by alcohol and this kind of nonsense. And not one day you ever hear a government tell the people, well, Emancipation Day, we have to emancipate ourselves. We have been slaves for a while, even though it's in the mental form. Let us go and liberate ourselves. So set a time where we can come, learn the Constitution. You know, look at that. You remember when we used to go to school, bro? Every day, the national anthem and the national pledge. Bro, in schools now, that is like what? That is, you know, like when a teacher call it a rule, a register rule. And absent, that is absent for how many years. So at the end of the exercise, figure it out, man. The mindset of the people. And there is something
Yeah, but you see,
drastically wrong.
the mindset of the people has been molded into what it is. And Alec Lawrence make that same. Yes, because we make the observation right there. He telling you he's surprised to see how little the general public knows about the Constitution. So they come now and they use that against the people. The ignorance of the people is what has been used against them. You check. So right now, it's on us as Dominicans to realize what has been happening and to transform, to change, make that change. Start educating ourselves. You check. If we have to make study groups,
We have to.
you check.
Well, that is the key thing.
And start studying the Constitution, start doing it, start reading it. It's $5 a copy, you can still get it online. Google. Yes, it's online, you know, they don't make a Constitution. So you can download it. Most people have smartphone, internet. So most of us can download it in the spare time, sit down. Even if it's you and two brethren, you and three brethren, sit down and read it to check. And sharpen your knowledge.
Of course.
And what are your rights? What the society is about? What the government is about? You check.
Of course.
Because Alec Lawrence just finished telling it to you. Without that knowledge, the society cannot develop.
It will not.
And we are seeing it, we are witnessing it. Instead, Alec Lawrence still go on to tell us, because of that same lack of knowledge, right? And the same corrupt behaviors, right? By including by the importation, the outsourcing, right? We'll become second-class citizens in our own nation. And we have seen it come to pass. So the book is a book, it has a lot of things in it. I mean, we just pointed a few things, but it speaks generally on what is the government, the structure of government, and the different branches of government. You check?
But I'll be honest, I heard of the book, but first time I seen it.
Yes, it's a good.
I'll pick up a copy.
It's a good read. It's a good read.
But just like 96 too. Is another good one. The good you can read for them.
No, 96 has been read now.
Which one is on there?
No, page 55, spending money.
Oh yeah, I see that already.
Why is Paul shop with Paul? Let me hear what that says.
No, that is spending money according to Alec Lawrence and his book.
You're looking tonight, man.
Contrary to what many people believe, ministers of government have no authority whatsoever to spend government money. In every ministry, the person to whom such a responsibility is given is the parliamentary secretary. The permanent secretary. He is the chief accountant officer for his ministry. And it is his duty to ensure that all government's money under the control of his ministry is properly accounted. This includes ensuring that government's money is only spent for the purposes and in the matter permitted by law, and that proper and accurate records are kept. No.
FIU.
No. The financial secretary that in charge of the escrow account, that allows the escrow account to go, cannot plead ignorance of the law. She have too much education and go too much university for her not to know the law.
Before
That's
we
how
know
we
she's
not
no
do it.
longer the financial
She
secretary.
is
She
at the
gone
point
right-
in time.
Oh, yes.
At the point in time,
Right,
she
yes.
was aiding
Retroactive.
and abetting
Yeah,
man. That's why they got rid of her.
embezzlement.
Oh yeah.
So
No,
that's
she
why,
was caught.
so that's
With
why she got,
Clinton.
that's why they got
The
rid
heat
of
was
her.
on.
She was caught.
The heat was
Yeah,
on.
man, yeah, man, yeah, man,
And they
yeah,
get
man.
her a job in
Yeah,
the
man.
UNDP
And
somewhere.
she
Or
just
wherever she moved, they
just
move
could answer the
around.
question.
They give her recommendation. She working somewhere as super
Yeah, man.
government. Yes.
I hear they send the lady on an expensive
Yes.
vacation, my brother.
So the heat was
Baby
on
by
because
them,
it clearly says
Yeah, man.
the
But
financial
Ali Current is a good
secretary
Yeah,
supposed to know better.
On one level,
Good criminal.
He's a good
Bloody
fellow.
criminal.
Boss is a good guy.
on one level he's a
Uncle
good
Bob,
guy.
good
Boy, have to be a good criminal, man, know that.
But he's a dirty,
Yeah,
corrupted
man, you're
nigga.
con,
He has been
man.
corrupted.
You fooling a set of people.
Yeah, no. Let me give it to you the right way.
Boy, see the one face
The
now,
gentleman fall along the way.
Jesus was in the desert for 40 days, they say.
He fall along the
And
way.
he didn't get
Ali,
tempted.
I don't know if
I
Ali
He
didn't get
backslide,
tempted, right?
brother.
Yes.
He backslide. He fall along the way.
Oh, shit.
He
Let me read the
backslide.
best. Let me read the part Ali.
Backslide.
I like that part, you know.
Would you, on that same financial part there, see it have the clarification of
No,
the,
that cannot have that. That book there is
In
that
the-
is for
in the-
breakdown for children.
well, but yeah, that standard, I'm
No,
standard
it's not
English
written to
giving you,
break. To break
Where's
it.
that?
of the removing funds from the
No, that you have to go in a big boys book for that.
oh shit.
Oh, he's in the
You have to go in a big boys.
consolidated fund.
Yeah.
And to read that again, you know, Pyro. Because it is just the most. That's my brother, guy. Just
You go look up, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, number one thing.
61782 times.
And even though it's 5 people you can influence to read the constitution and then the other
Let me
five-
read it for you again, you know,
the other
Pyro,
five.
because
let me tell you,
it's just so
really have
important for the understanding of
8210, you say?
that.
61782 times.
No society such as ours can advance without a common understanding of its constitution, legal processes, and civic history.
There's a serious
Such an understanding is the fuel which will propel the ordinary citizen to commit to doing work of development which no foreign ally can do for us.
There's a serious.
And I'll continue to read it, you know. And I'll continue reading it, you know. In a fiercely competitive world, we will never be ready for the very task of nation building where we lack a keen understanding in our government system. Indeed, only an enlightened public can keep government and society decent and honest.
We do not have an enlightened public.
As there is much of a fix aboard our ship of state, we cannot afford to become complacent or idle as to our civic duty.
Exactly.
Though a busy trial lawyer, entrepreneur, and family man, Mr. Lawrence has assumed that duty, and in so doing, he has made an incomparable contribution to our country. Such an effort is worthy of emulation and does our country proud. And yet, indeed, Mr. Lawrence, the book you have written about the Constitution,
Yeah,
the,
that's a good book.
Constitution, the government, and you, is an excellent book. And again, Shakira Lockhart,
Buy one.
buy one and recommend it to the school students of Dominica.
Oh, yes.
Newton Primary School.
Newton
college
Primary School, all
and the
primary
college.
school, and higher second form.
And the college.
Watch
It
that.
can even be in the college as well. It is a very good book. We expect it to be in the school system by September because Mr. Skerritt himself said he wants to return civics to school.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Lawrence has provided us with a great textbook.
Oh yeah.
I just have to give Lawrence his plug on the book.
And we need a debate. We need a debate. We need a
Well,
debate
you
on
see
the
that
book within the schools.
Only an enlightened. Yeah, the man telling you.
Yes. Go ahead.
Only an enlightened public can keep government and society decent and honest. Them man know what happening in the country.
But you know the people not unlike
This
to
is
say
what
what
happened
they want.
today. Huh?
It is not right.
And enlightened bus drivers
You
fighting
understand?
for their
Right.
rights, my brother. And what happened? The indecency of the police force brutalize the people for their rights, you know, my brother. Their rights.
The man decided to abuse the man instead.
But yeah, that, the same money, the revenue you expecting to make for raising the gas price, you. Let them feel that contributing the most rate now. Boss man, like in the gas station, they post it for the day.
But it's there.
So at the end of the exercise, you already do give them nothing for COVID. You come and talking nonsense, tell them I will go and take money in bank. In bank to do what? And there's nobody on the road picking up it.
But let us look at the economics of the bank loan.
You understand?
If your expenses is $1,000 for the month and you're thinking you sinking, you feeling the weight of the pressure on your shoulder. You're asking a man to take a loan to add another bill to his back without adding sales to his bottom line.
Thank you very much.
And people, what the bus drivers experience, people have to take that very, very extraordinary serious, because we want to isolate the bus drivers, but let us look at and discuss the greater economic bubble we're talking about. Now, the bus drivers feeling the squeeze of the economics.
Yeah.
The small businessman with his little bicycle shop feeling that same squeeze. So it's not just the bus drivers that have a grievance for the economic situation. The truck drivers have a grievance for the economic situation. Because we not getting work to do. And that work and that stealing of our money and embezzlement of government fund is not allowing money to reach the ghetto. It's not allowing money to reach the streets. If the bus drivers ask for a raise in the bus fare, say 50 cents, and they give them a 50 cents, the salary increase offered by the government is 1.25%.
That was your before, yeah?
No, 1.25%.
They get off it for how many years?
$12.50 on $100. If the bus driver fare go up by 50 cents or go up by a quarter in a week, in a month, you're going to erase that $12.50 on every $100. We need gainful employment in Dominica to offset the cost of living. And the government not providing that. The government stealing from us. You understand? And today, we went in front of the police station and we had to put a little pressure on the police because we clearly understanding that the police do not understand their role in the society, being that they themselves have never read the Constitution. So you have a bunch of men running around pretending to be law enforcement officers who in absolute ignorance of the Constitution.
They're supposed to protect.
The director of FIU cannot quote section 76 of the Constitution.
And that is the part of the Constitution the man supposed to know.
The man have to know that at the
Because
back of the head.
that is where the
Of
government
the
can
money.
benefit from.
Of the money.
Alright then.
Thank you very much.
Position.
He cannot quote section 76 of the Constitution.
So he don't
In
deserve-
fact,
so he don't deserve
none
his
of
job.
the officers at FIU could quote section 76 of the
They
Constitution.
don't deserve their job.
They deserve their job, you know.
Or the position they hold.
They deserve their job.
Or the position they
But
hold.
they clearly need to be educated. They know don't put money in the bank if you sell it.
Them are the
But it's
their
not
job,
one
boy.
cent. They don't deserve
Bro,
their job because
They
it's
need
one
to be
cent.
trained.
Some of them are
Marcus
deserve-
Farrell don't deserve his job.
And when you put in Davidson Valerie.
Davidson
There's
Valerie,
one
though,
chef.
and I'm not speaking about those guys. I'm speaking about the subordinates under them who I know qualified enough to do the job in FIU.
Davidson Valerie
that
not qualified.
higher I'm more qualified than Mackelson Ferrell. Or Mackelson Ferrell qualification is body
It's
loyalty.
loyalty.
You understand?
Loyalty.
So,
I'm going from being a bodyguard to
I took it on myself. And I don't see none of the young men in
Just
FIU.
on a bet crime.
Oh yes, that is why they get
You check what I'm not
that's not what you
attacking
say.
none of the young officers in FIU because I know
I
I know
what
a few
you
of
say
them,
exactly.
I'm familiar with them, and them man want to work straight.
But if them can
But you have a 10,000 pound gorilla on top of you just sitting down there and preventing the man from work.
Yeah man, I understand
So,
you, I understand
you know what I did for my state? Like Alec Lawrence as a patriot,
Yeah.
I went to the printry and I bought them some constitution and I returned and I gave it to the gentlemen in FIU, the young police officers. I want them to familiarize themselves
man.
with the constitution.
Yeah, man.
Because Alec Lawrence says it clearly.
Oh yes.
If they do not arm themselves with it, they cannot put Mackelson in check.
At all.
Nor they can they help keep the society honest and decent and safe.
Yeah, from
That is a deadly thing.
from them crime busters we have it now in Italy.
And they go
I cannot stress on it today most importantly today. People have to take it very seriously to know and understand the constitution of Dominica. Go ahead.
They don't tell you why you should know the constitution.
Yes, go ahead.
Why?
Let's educate the
The
people.
constitution is important. You see that the supreme law.
Of the land.
You see how Alec Lawrence started it off.
Oh, yeah, what chapter
The
we are not
supreme
getting
law. That is page 2. Yeah. Supreme law. And the man starts off. The constitution is the most important law in Dominica. It expressly describes itself as the supreme law of Dominica. The reasons for its importance and supremacy include the following. The power of Parliament to make laws is derived from the Constitution. As a result, the legal authority of all laws is found in the Constitution. Goes on number 2. Any law in Dominica which is inconsistent with the Constitution is of no effect in legal language. Such a law is described as being null and void. It is the court which decides whether a law is null and void. But as long as it is inconsistent with the Constitution, it is of no effect. So all these laws these people passing and telling you about, you haven't got no right to assemble.
Don't know the bottom on the side. You have to go Parliament and pass it and sign it properly.
Now it continuing, you know, the Mr. Alec Lawrence. He's saying that while all other laws in Dominica can be changed by the vote of a simple majority of the members of Parliament, the provisions of the Constitution cannot be changed unless special procedures are followed. So even with a majority in Parliament, Skerrit and his goons cannot just
do what
change
they want.
the Constitution.
To suit
These
them.
include special majorities
And to
such
suit
as
them.
2/3 and 3/4 majority vote of the elected members of Parliament. The need for a referendum to change some provisions. So you see that even for the change of certain provisions in the Constitution, you have to come back to the people and have a referendum.
Most address to the people.
That is why we are a republic.
Exactly. The people know we have to understand our power, you know, as the mass, you know.
That's what they don't want to like us for, because what we start to do there is what the people need.
But the people need to be educated, brother. Without Alec Lawrence telling you that without the enlightenment, the society cannot develop.
By way of that good society.
At no time.
You live
Lawlessness.
in a place of chaos. You
And
live
that is
in
what
an
we see.
environment
But
of problems.
What are we
For
seeing?
20 years, man.
What are we seeing?
For
And
20
it even
years.
goes further as one the police by right supposed to uphold the law. It's in the same book.
Now let
And
us continue. Where was that? To change delay periods when the amending bill is being passed through Parliament, and the need for special certificates before the President can sign the bill into law. Note that while a law is being debated in Parliament, it is referred to as a bill. And even after it has been passed, a bill does not become law unless it is approved or ascended to by the President of Dominica. As a result of these protections, the government cannot change the most important parts of the Constitution without the approval of the Parliament and people of Dominica. So the Constitution has to be ratified by the people of Dominica for the government to be able to change the Constitution. The Constitution goes on number 4. The Constitution sets out the major organs or institutions of the state. These are normally referred to as the arms on branches of the state, and are the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, the three branches of government. The Constitution states that the powers that each shall have and establishes the relationship between these three branches. The executive refers to the president and the cabinet, the legislature refers to the parliament, and the judiciary refers to the courts. These are recognized all over the world as the three major branches of the state. Generally, every other organ of the state falls under one of these branches. For example, the public service and the police fall under the executive branch. The Constitution, number 5. The Constitution is the authority by which a person's citizenship in Dominica is determined.
Not by scale.
So that is what the social contract and the establishment of our society is all about.
Now I will kill me saying almost right.
And number 6 and last one, the Constitution sets out the fundamental rights and freedoms of the citizens. Those are special rights and freedoms which the state of Dominica has decided every citizen has, and which the state is bound to protect and promote. Essentially, these rights and freedom are those which are necessary to establishing the dignity of each human being, and which are regarded as the basic rights and freedoms that one should enjoy in a free and democratic society. No, it is the duty of every citizen to try to learn as much as possible about the Constitution. It is the legal foundation on which the country stands. Citizens should therefore be vigilant to ensure that the government and public authorities do not act in a manner which breach or undermine the Constitution. The Constitution is available for sale at a minimal price at the government printery and the Prime Minister's office.
Let's see, man, go from the Prime Minister's office. Yeah.
So you see that Alec Lawrence is telling us.
Yeah, you have to go up.
Hear that, you know, first.
What decided for about
Hear that, yeah. Alec Lawrence is telling you citizens should therefore be vigilant to ensure. We have to be vigilant as a people, as a society, to ensure that the government and public authorities do not act in a manner which breaches or undermines the Constitution. Alec Lawrence is giving us this advice, and he's sharing with us what that is in our Constitution, in his book. So today, when a police officers gang up on one man and violate his human rights, right?
Yeah.
That is a breach of the Constitution.
Oh yes, my father.
And we, as right citizens, patriotic citizens, supposed to stand up to the police. Right?
Yeah, man.
It's written right here by Mr. Alec Lawrence again. You see it?
So Alec Lawrence is not a sacred boy, he's a good man.
I'm a very good man.
He's a good man turned rogue.
Yeah, man.
Sacred, dirty volley. See them man, them man, they know what it is.
Yes,
Yet
sir.
still they breaking every law
You tell me.
that they have written and created.
I will read you.
Me a little piece.
Wow, hard one.
The revision Dr. Grell have done.
They have a revision and they should be selling it over there. In the print tree. I don't know if you get a copy of it, but you can check if you don't have one, have one. Have the revision and the revision of the revision.
Of the revision,
Have the proof of them.
Yes, sir.
Okay. In what chapter is that again? Chapter page 96 Pyro. What chapter is that? I think that's
Chapter 11.
chapter 11. Chapter 11.
We get back my book and go back to class.
Same thing as
Duty as a citizen.
Oh boy.
To keep informed about matters affecting the country. A patriot is a well-informed citizen, because being well-informed gives one a better chance of making the right contribution to his country's development. He must therefore try to have some knowledge of Dominica's history and of current events affecting the country. Now, this is a thing Moun Séwyè has always been saying. We as a people do not know our history. We have a rich history.
Oh, yeah.
The 70s is a rich era of history. We have little been taught to the generations after that about the history of Dominica. We have spent too much time teaching about European history and a wider Caribbean history without putting the Dominica history first and foremost in our school system. You cannot, as Pyro say, you cannot go in Cuba and not learn the whole Cuban history and expect to assimilate into Cuba. If you want to become an American citizen, you have to be able to pass the history exam. And it's the same thing for England. So why is it that we who have a history is not being taught that history?
used against us.
It is the ignorance of that history is being the ignorance to the people of that history is being weaponized against us to this day. And Alec Lawrence is clearly, eloquently stating that to us, my people. We have to take his words, written in 2007, very seriously in 2021. And like I always been saying, we as a people haven't learned to unite. Ever since autonomy is division on politics.
And he has
And none of these politicians has taken the knowledge of the Constitution to the people. Even as far back as the Constitution of Autonomy in 1967, these guys have never empowered the citizen to know the rights and the laws of the country. We're going to in 1979 independence, and still these people have never empowered the people with the Constitution.
Not even from the school.
And the ignorance of the lack of knowledge of the Constitution is what have us in this clear problem we are today. And people just talk about in other countries, and then politicians just loosely throw it around, a constitutional crisis. We have a constitutional crisis in Dominica because we have complete ignorance of the Constitution on a mass level, and that have to change in order to
20
change.
years, what has Labour Party done to change that?
Absolutely
Because see Alec
nothing.
Lawrence making the observation right here in his book that he's surprised at the level of ignorance in relating to the Constitution by our society. Yet still, in 20 years, his party, his political party, which has been governing Dominica, he's a member of the Labour Party, and they have been governing Dominica for 20 years. And what have they done to resolve this issue. Not a thing, because he wrote a book and he have it hidden in his office. You know. When we went for the book, they had to go and dig for it in some archive.
It was there, man.
Hidden in the office, they had to dig up for it.
You
So,
remember, man.
I mean,
4 books one day, Pyro. I record sales and
so we have to bring
record
the
sales that
stuff.
was there.
So we have to bring the stuff. Yeah, we have to go that one. We have to bring the stuff
We
forward.
all have to reprint that next time we do it.
so this, I mean, the man knew better. The man knows better. He's even telling you about the same allegiance to political parties.
Not to interrupt you, Pyro. Remember when I was saying to you at time that it have senior councils that enable Scary into breaking the constitution?
But of course,
And the senior council that knows the constitution the best.
you know, the specialized constitutional lawyer, no?
Good. So he helped to mama guy and create the quagmire that is the passport program.
But of course,
Good, you
because he's
understand?
one of the beneficiaries. He's a developer. He's the one developing.
In
the
fact, he
hotel
stopped
at-
practice
at
law. You know,
Coconut-
when we bought the book, we were
Coconut
informed that he stopped practice law.
You hear that?
The man has stopped practicing law.
Money make like that.
But man, a hotel developer
CBA.
making hundreds of millions. And you got $80 consultation fee.
You do that. You know, in one day, the man had a sale. And the man made more than $17 million.
So what the man?
One day, you know.
So why should the man
Worry about the cost.
worry about $80 consultant fee as a
You
lawyer?
understand? But why he giving us guidelines for us not to be like him?
Well, back in the day, but he was doing a justice to his country.
He was, and he
And he
did.
was doing a
And he
justice.
did.
That is true.
And he did.
Yeah, because all now so we
have
have
it.
a material,
Right
we have
now,
a material to penalize him, you know.
you know the usual.
Definitely.
You know, no, not penalize him. Not to you see, we're not going to penalize Alec Lawrence for the good work he do with that book. In fact, we will deal with him on other matters, but I want to highlight the goodness of that book because the government will come and say, oh, they have to do a research on a book, they have to go in search of.
That one
No,
done.
that one perfect.
That one done.
That just have to go into the school system
But done by their own people. The man is a member of Labour Party.
That
The man
has
is
to.
security lawyer, you know.
But the man was on the committee for the...
They should make MMC take our money and buy some for the school
Of course,
system.
yeah,
MMC
yeah,
have
yeah.
money. To ask Anthony Hayden to buy
But that
buy a
is
copy for each school student. They
But
pay for our money.
that is joke all about when Kempinski was going on. Them little come joke scholarship you giving them turn down Portsmouth. I mean them have excess money. All the schools them are supposed to have
The
this.
point, this book is well written.
Yeah man, it's supposed
There
to be in the
is
society.
absolutely no reasoning except for wanting to keep the people in darkness and
And
ignorance.
ignorance.
Why that book will not be in the school system September.
Definitely.
If you want to go and buy some social study book that teaching people about Trinidad and teaching people about it all overseas country, and that not in the school system, is nonsense that there. Let Alec Lawrence make that money, Pyro, with that book sales. Because he might need it when the tables turn.
If not make a Nobel Prize winner,
He might need that legitimate money when tables turn. When he might need to pay lawyers, he might need to pay others when tables turn.
of course, yeah.
When we get a hold of the government
Oh, yes.
and we change the law and we make things into what
Oh,
they have to
yes, oh,
be.
yes.
Yeah, there are things that have to
Yeah,
change.
man.
Yes, the reform has to be done, but with the present laws, Alec Lawrence could be easily prosecuted.
I believe so. I
Yeah,
believe
but the
so.
Constitution give us that one. I'm clear attitude to do that.
And I want to speak to the police again and to revisit because that image of the man kicking him and play back in my mind again as we're talking about the Constitution.
Man keep the man like a football. I mean.
This thing of the police torturing, not interrogating, and I'm gonna use these strong terms, torturing Dominican citizens to the point where they kill Kerwin Prosper
Yeah.
is not investigative work. And we clearly see that sort of practice is not covered in the Constitution of Dominica, nowhere, no how. 7 police sweep. Huh?
Torture illegal in every country.
Good. And the police in Dominica have a long-standing history of engaging in torture.
Yes, them man don't know how to work. Most of them police officers don't know how to investigate.
No,
It's aggression. Everything.
evidence win cases, not beating up people.
That's why
And
there's
that
so many
torture
cases in the
that the police putting on people have to come to a stop because it is unconstitutional.
Of course.
And if the commissioner of police, who I don't know if you haven't, I don't know if you read understanding the constitution properly, needs to understand the constitutional rights of people are being violated, and he should teach the police officers to respect the fundamental rights of people.
I don't do say much, right? But I was once in the court, right? And Corbett was, I think, state prosecutor, and the judge had to ask him if he cannot read his whole life. That is all I'm saying. If we have a commissioner, an acting commissioner,
2 days the acting commission.
that alone speaks volume.
But here the man do. Here what the man do, my brother. What he did, right?
Whereas in the court, sir,
After the man shot Nicholas, my brother. The
that-
man pay off Nicholas for him not to come to court.
That was
So
a-
you have tampering of a witness.
by far.
And the court don't do nothing about it.
But
Whole facely tampering with a witness.
But the man said
my
Nicholas
brother.
take his gun from him and shoot him. See this side of
and
the man.
you supposed to be a
See
commissioner
the
today.
side of the man and see the side of
Man,
Nicholas.
train man.
And you supposed to be a commissioner
Military
today.
training.
Nah, man,
the man will making a
Nicholas
research.
a whole power.
Ah,
Nicholas.
flying a mosquito with that there.
You understand my brother?
Any little child friend of Nicholas.
The man has said,
Nicholas don't eat it. Yeah,
Nicholas
hold on. Yeah, that. Nicholas don't eating food for how many days, you know, brother? Huh? And you telling me a man like him, that condition, that don't have a proper meal, not proper, which proper meal, that don't have no meal at all for how many days, smoking crack, huh?
overpowered you.
Yeah, you that going in gym, you that train man in hand-to-hand combat,
Oh yeah,
huh?
oh yeah.
And you telling me that little man that do have no training, paro, not eating for how many days,
Yeah.
physically weak, can overpower you and take your gun in here. And the court believe in that. Where is the justification?
Yeah.
Where is the evidence to prove that?
The court is just a typical embarrassment.
But you, Nicholas, go around and make everybody know Mr. give him money for it not to come to court.
No, that book just amazing, you know, reading the
Tamper
words
with a
of-
witness.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And
No, but he's reading it again, yeah.
I sit down and read that out and
It's just
it's a good book.
so. Parrot, we check you look at. We expect you to support this book in the school system.
My partner.
Yeah,
No, they don't know power, man.
she's a parrot. They can fire her from being a parrot. She can put some balls in her leg and say something.
Our secretary runs it.
But yeah, what you represent in a constitution, a
A
constituency.
constituency she representing.
And she's a young person, and she's giving young people a notion, like, well,
She
whatever she
representing
presenting
a
them with
constituency
is the right stuff.
Hello.
So let her.
Hello.
That is a theory. You put
Hello.
it forward there.
She's representing the constituency on paper.
Merci beaucoup.
Right.
You know when you have a football game
Yeah.
and the man telling you he win,
Yeah.
he win on the paper. Not on the field.
Yeah, the stronger team on
He
paper.
win on the paper, not on the football ground.
Well, still, I
Not
still.
doing a woman, a parent that not doing nothing for his constituents. Huh?
You know, I tell you, man.
Project. Heritage.
A clinic is being built right next to the Fatima Church.
The born a constituent was killed in police custody and
I know
nothing
what
was
I
said.
just read for all you as to developing ourselves.
You understand?
Oh, let me read that for Maggie, man. Maggie wasn't there.
What I
Yeah.
just read.
Good night, everybody.
Development.
I like reading it, man. It just
That is a powerful
it
statement.
just profound, man.
Yes, I.
No society such as ours can advance without a common understanding of its constitution, legal processes, and civic history. Such an understanding is the fuel which will propel the ordinary citizen to commit to doing the work of development which no foreign ally can do for us.
Chinese with that building over. And we have one set of fellas sit down on this side with unemployed.
In a fiercely competitive world, we will never be ready for the very task of nation building where we lack a keen understanding of our system of government.
And the same government telling you unemployment, especially amongst the youth, is over 55%.
Well, if you the youth unemployed and they sit down on the block, then the government should pass around with a truck and give each youth on the block a constitution to read. Because apparently the youth have plenty time to read the constitution. So the government should provide it.
And even that book, book of Alec Lawrence.
That book of Alec Lawrence, again,
Yeah, man.
I expect. No, let me tell you who they should give that book to. They should give that to Rayburn Blackmore.
Yeah,
Because as a boo-boo suit wear, as a boo-boo suit wear for the Prime Minister and a former police who we know did not read the constitution in training. We want him to understand it written by Alec Lawrence, the junior version. We want Blackmore to read it. Because apparently he can understand the big boy version because he have voice skills with him. Plus, he cannot do his work as a, again, Blackmore representing the fact that the police cannot investigate. He's the Minister of National Security. You have the files of every agency in Dominica. You cannot say Mama Guy put it under your watchdog. That means you're knowledgeable of the Mama Guy. And you must be participating in the Mama Guy. The police have to ask you a question.
This is the FIU offices, man.
Alright, call the boy.
FIU office, huh?
Yes.
Blackmore don't even talk about the police killing Sobby.
And Sobby was his neighbor.
And Sobby was his neighbor.
Grew up, a little boy he grew up with from little youth, man.
A pompous idiot, my brother, that can't understand the constitution.
By the same mother-in-law.
That owns the building.
And according to the IPO, that too close for comfort,
too
my
close
brother.
for comfort, yeah. Conflict of interest. When
FIU sitting down in the man mother-in-law.
His mother may be adamant, maybe
yeah, freedom.
Opposition to him and his government. To his government, I should say, not to him. But
his wife, which is a
she
daughter.
is too close legally according to the IPU for there to be renting.
Yeah, it's FX.
And two, Duns and Diva that have all them government renting for too close to the Prime Minister. Markelson Ferrell.
Yes, I.
Sakwe Bubu Sutiwe.
She's a parliamentary representative. The same owner of the building, not his wife's building. Nah.
Corruption and FI and Markelson Ferrell sit down on the top of FIU.
And she's a parliamentary representative.
But tomorrow I don't park on the Keep Club and tend to uphold the law by not parking on the Keep Club.
Will be fair.
Well, the policeman say, them man putting the laws and themselves breaking the laws.
Every day, FIU GA 650 park on a Keep Club. Every single day, the FIU GA 650 parking on a Keep Club. Like, come on, my brother.
Not a reserve parking.
It's not because are you working as police, not because are you working as government makes any one of them man above the law. And the police need to understand that. And I want to explain something in the constitution for the police again. For the police officers and them at looking.
Them man have a
Because
special constitution.
according to the Constitution of Dominica, there's supposed to be an ombudsman in the government who can investigate any department corruption. Come in and ask for any documents, and man just have to come up. That man have the power of war. You just man have the power to search and think. However, yes, basically the ombudsman is a walking high court
by himself.
However, the ombudsman cannot call the minister in for questioning. The only person in the law of Dominica that can call the minister in and put him under interrogation is the police. It is the police. There is no committee, no government department that have to instruct the police to call in Blackmore for questioning. Not if the Prime Minister scare it, not nobody.
Not the president.
Not the president.
I am.
Corbett is an independent player in the game.
Well, he's not as independent as he
I'm
should
talking
be.
Constitutionally.
Yes.
He's an independent player in the game.
Supposed
Because
to
what
be.
you're saying a while ago.
I got told I was
I
saying.
told her
Yeah, on the
say,
paper.
On paper.
On paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In reality, you know,
Yeah.
the corruption in the game.
Yes, sir.
Right. But on
And that is what
paper,
you have to try to eliminate
he
in the game.
have
Yeah.
to go and
Corruption
ask
of the
Blackmore to prove he didn't know about the corruption under his belt. Because it's not today Blackmore is Minister of Immigration.
At all.
And when the first bomb of racketeering happened, Scary publicly say to fix it.
Yes,
And
boy.
he will only be speaking to Blackmore.
Yes, I. Yes, I.
So-
Like,
He could have only be speaking to Blackmore. You're the head of the division, the box stop with you, bro. Cover this shit properly.
yeah. It's smelling. It's smelling, yeah.
And we are having a
Bomb
heat
body in the
happening.
place, yeah.
Look at record again.
Of
Good.
course.
Good.
At
Good.
that
He
time,
never stop.
It has never fixed.
At that time, now it have players to the forefront.
Yes.
So what about the last time?
No.
Were the players too big
no.
to come
The
forward?
current game still at play.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, it
man.
never stopped.
That
We're
is-
gonna fix it, you know.
But didn't fix.
Nothing never happened.
Nothing never happened.
Right, so it escalated until
Now the fix it meant the police supposed to have gone in there and fix it.
that was what I was supposed to
Not
be done.
scared saying fix it.
and then everybody
It
shut
is the
them out.
police
That was supposed to
that
be
have
the
to work.
investigation.
Just like I explained to the guys at FIU today, in front of Bossman Markelson Ferrell. Ask Markelson Ferrell to explain section 76 of the Constitution, where it clearly says that the Prime Minister cannot put the money on an escrow account without the express permission of the Parliament. The who, what, when, and where, and how of that have to be produced. Tony Astaf and all them legal defenders, Ali Clark, every single one of them have to produce where the law that govern in the housing program, including you, Shakira Lockhart. If you want to speak up or understand what is going on, you can come with and meet the boys, you know. We'll explain it properly if you don't understand the Constitution. Because you need to go and ask him a question as to who give him legal permission for our money. And if you're representing us, the people of Newtown, like you just claim, go and ask him on our behalf. Who give him legal permission? We know the law, we arm with the law, and we want law and order now. Yes, I.
Page 47.
Why?
The source of revenues, right?
Yes, your
And taxes. Now, imagine today the bus drivers and the action was about raising gas prices and taking account to meet the demand, right? Alright. All the grounds, you know, page 47. The more taxes an individual pays, the less money he has to spend. If the tax is too high, the public might protest through strikes and demonstrations, resulting in social as well as political unrest. The high taxes may also lead to widespread action to avoid or evade payment.
The man is
The man do
excellent work,
job.
my brother.
But how you can be so
Excellent
mad
work, my brother.
I mean, no man, that thing there, that
Greed of man.
oh boy, money man.
The evil in man's heart. The greed of mankind.
Boy, it's crucial, it's crucial. Can you imagine?
Man telling you have a right to protest.
protest,
You have a right to
demonstrate.
demonstrate.
And the taxes, you know, my brother.
I scan that book, I have nothing I do like that.
What page are there?
Page 47, I read
Page
it.
47.
Let me read it again.
That's
the more tax an individual pays, the less money he has to spend.
Yeah. Yeah.
If the tax is too high, the public might protest through strikes and demonstrations, resulting in social as well as political unrest. High taxes may also lead to widespread action to avoid or evade payments. And we see that existing across the board in Dominica. Across the board. The higher taxes preventing mothers from paying school fees.
Yes, I.
You understand?
Making children, school fees. Private schools closing.
Mr. Lawrence and the shining cargo. Well, at least you do one good thing in his lifetime.
I'd go to come back to bite him, you know.
No. It going and come back to bless the nation.
Yes, yeah, but him.
Yeah, it will break his ass for you.
Yes, him personally. He will, yeah. Because right now, the barefoot man, called the Tola, the barefoot man, Séwyè, can understand from that book there, the way that breakdown. Yeah, man. And knowledge is power. Imagine today, today.
But it's not just knowledge,
Yeah.
Not just knowledge.
Application of it.
Because you can have the knowledge.
Correct. You know how to apply it. Yes, correct. And that one has come into today by the police station. Two people passing a vehicle and they slow down, wind down the glass and they say, "Oh, you remember that? All the fellas brave." I said, "No, man, he's not brave. We know, we understand our rights. It's knowledge and you know what I'm saying, like this is the application of it. So we know and we do everything, we know our rights." Then we had a brethren of our own now on the live now, commenting and telling Buju, you know, like to be careful, you know, where we are there. Don't go inside there or do what. But you see again, it's understanding. You check it. We know where we are. We know our rights. So you know what I mean. The way it is, we have no fear, and the police know that too. Yeah, exactly.
At the end of the day, if the police can protect us, who else will protect us?
Now, if you didn't know, okay, watch me, to see today there, if we didn't know our rights by the police station,
well, if you come and keep one of us,
Valerie would have make us put out in our boom boom and run. Because as a big man in a big position of acting commissioner to come by the acting assistant commissioner, permit AAC, you check me, to come by the gate and you take your time, fix yourself, because you have some little megaphone well stuck in, you know,
like we have no right.
come by the gate, you breathe in, breathe out, open it down, the first thing I call in your mouth is to tell us, hey, remember, there is a what?
Noise Abatement Act.
A Noise Abatement Act.
That is what 10 o'clock and
I wonder if you really know.
after 10 in the night, when all the music
She's like telling you,
them grannies and things,
Who Soleil show, 12 o'clock, lunchtime, you telling people about Noise Abatement Act, Rasta. You taking people about Dotish and Tebe.
Second class in our country, you know why? You have that lady from Pottersville, Miss Diane, calling the radio steady. House party, making noise whole night disturbing her. Huh?
Yeah.
But you don't go down there and tell people on them.
Noise Abatement Act.
We on our mother estate, in front of the police station is our mother estate.
Yeah.
That is my mother estate.
Yeah,
That
man.
is my mother estate.
Hold on.
You can't tell me
Somebody
what to
say
come
something
there.
there and to shift gears, shift gears a minute.
Yeah.
Now, we have a critical problem in Dominica. The post office not working.
Boy! Boy!
We have a problem in Dominica.
Serious
You
problem.
cannot send a letter to any country without spending money at DHL
Or FedEx.
or FedEx
Or
or
we
any other
forward.
courier service.
Yeah.
Now that is a major
Major.
problem
Oh my
at the
goodness.
present moment.
Oh, Pomale.
No, I'm not hearing it being addressed by the politicians,
Oh, yeah, that's
by
it.
anybody in the society.
When I give him post
But
on RSC
when I want to send a little letter to England for $5 stamp,
yeah, but-
I cannot afford no $200 DHL business.
Oh, you mad.
That is crippling to poor people.
Our post office made a public statement.
I have
No,
never
nothing,
even
brother,
heard
nothing.
any public
I went
statement by
there-
any official about the matter.
Okay. I went there around 2 years ago to send a birth paper for my mother in France. And they tell me they're not sending out mail.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, about 2 years ago, they tell me they don't sending out mail. Saying, what? I ask them why. They say it's because of, they have a contract with Liat. And Liat is into turmoil and thing. So, therefore, yeah, that is the whole up.
So there's no chartered service that the government can pay for that important
That I seen there. So you telling me,
Let me tell you that.
one door closed.
That is a matter we have to, we supposed to take that up to the US, I think the UPS.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because every post office in the world is under one governing body. Because in the maritime aspect, the post office control all the shipping lanes. And that is what the bastards don't want them to know. You see, that's what the man don't want us to know. The post office control all the shipping lanes.
So watch me. So who is the head of the post office?
I think it's supposed to be some S3.
Tomorrow I want to find that out.
Yeah. Let's do that.
We need to
because you
visit
see-
the head of the
you
post
see-
office to get
you
a
see
proper,
the Postmaster General.
serious brother.
The Postmaster General
Yes.
is a very powerful person in Dominica that acts very silent. Nobody knows about the Postmaster General, and that person has a very powerful post.
If anybody
In
know,
the
let us
country.
know. But we will find out tomorrow.
Yes, of course.
Definitely. That I write down my to-do list.
It has been too long that simple outgoing mail not functioning
Yeah, man.
in the state of Dominica.
Yeah, man, and we have to know
And
why.
that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, we
Well,
have
the
to
big
know why.
boys don't need that service.
No. Well, you see me, I cannot afford to send letter on the courier service to my grandmother in England or to anybody for that matter.
Boys don't need the
I need to
service.
pay 99 cents, $2 stamp
Which
to
one
send
you
letter
love?
overseas.
The clearance just sell it to you. If the tax is too high,
We have to
Demonstrate.
strike. We have to
Nobody,
demonstrate.
post office is not about
civil unrest,
No
No
man.
much, no much tax.
The post office is not
Hear what
about
I'm telling
tax.
you. Hear what I'm telling you. Hear what I'm telling you. Hear what I'm saying, right? The man said tax is too high. It's not just taxing. Right now, the service of mail is no longer there. Right? What you have to do now is commercialize things. DHL, FedEx and so on. Its price is what? Beyond the reach of the
$200 you buy for
Exactly,
letter.
so the price is beyond the reach of the average man. You check me?
And the letter have
So
to be
there
go-
now, what you going to do is the same concept of the tax and the price too high.
Right.
So you have to strike, you have to revolt, you have to do something, you have to protest, you have to demonstrate, but you have to make the government know
Yeah.
that what they are doing
Correct.
is not right because it's a governmental service.
And
It's been managed and run by the
and the
government.
fact that you're not doing that makes them feel like you alright, you cool.
You understand, Maggie?
So you have to make them know, no, we don't cool, that's
Yeah.
all. I have to
You
say,
have to demonstrate.
but you have to make your,
I
have a
didn't
bobo.
progress.
Have a bobo, it's hurting me. I have to dress it.
Oh, yeah,
I didn't vote for the privatization of post out of Dominica.
Exactly.
I didn't vote for
And
that.
that happened to
It
us,
was
yeah, right?
never on the ballot. It was
didn't
never
want to
discussed.
vote
And I don't want it.
People accept it.
My partner sent a letter of a thing for me from England. 2 months, I think Antigua carried Dominica,
Yes,
2-3 months. The man sent a little package through the post office. And that's sitting down in Antigua for 3 months.
because Lee had not fly.
Because it's not DHL, it's a post office.
Yeah.
It is a rubbish excuse if it's Liat that's
Of
not
course.
flying.
You are back in business.
But Pyro,
But we give Lee at $8 million one year.
if Liat not flying, let us
Yeah,
hold
but
on,
provide
hold
the
on,
service
let me just say that. If Liat bankrupt and not flying, it is not an excuse for mail
Not
not
to
leaving or reaching the country with so many airlines
Yeah.
flying all over the place.
What I'm saying is that Liat is back in business.
There is no excuse
Yes, yes.
for the mail not to be leaving the country as it used to. None whatsoever. And whoever in charge of the mail in Dominica, like
Postmaster
Skerrit say,
General.
fix it.
I want to visit.
And Shakira, if you is the power rep of the people, we cannot afford to send letters for $200 to England, for $200 to Antigua, for $200 to nowhere. Open your mouth and talk.
Yeah, man.
But what your sister, boy, I'm telling you something about your sister, my brother. I cannot afford no letter for $200. Tell your sister, open her mouth and talk for the people.
Imagine.
Talk for the people.
Imagine.
For what?
Yeah.
And then and the letter still not going out. One letter does come, one mail does come. Is bills. Doasco delivering, Dominic delivering, cable stop deliver. Business. Yeah, man, postman passing. And government tax will always come in on time. Postman
Yeah,
is
man.
Buy and get deal.
Imagine you have people out there, you know, supporting the movements that want to, you know, purchase t-shirts in the, you know, out there in Alaska. Our brethren want 2 t-shirts, and we are in England. So they tell me to go buy, you know, it's like go downtown and, boy, you mad. Alaska $210. 2 shirts.
You know what the price
England
of a
$240.
t-shirt?
Yeah.
The price of the first Ponga t-shirt is about £1, right?
Yeah.
It's $25 in the post office to England.
That's
$25.
Yeah.
Tell Shakira your sister cannot afford $200 post office to tell Prime Minister Skerrit to fix it.
Yeah.
To fix it. You're the parliamentary representative of Newtown. We vote for you, girl. They cannot fire you out of parliament. Go and tell Mr. to fix the damn post office. Tell him, go and tell him that tomorrow.
Yeah, man.
Cabinet meeting tomorrow morning. She better find some balls in her leg.
Boy, hold on now, man.
Balls in her leg.
Why you think I keep telling him that now?
Why I putting pressure on her? I
She's
pull.
only strong on paper.
She not strong on paper. She not strong on
Only
paper.
have to get this team on paper.
Yeah.
Only on documents, not on the
Say, well,
ground.
can I grow some balls and some young and go and tell Mr. in the cabinet tomorrow.
Mojo, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. When you get a job, a politician, right? And you, before you can even get elected by the people, you get elected by the head of
State.
And when you come to the people, Shakira see that after Hurricane Maria, you see the people were saying, I never saw Shakira after Hurricane Maria. I never saw Shakira after Hurricane Maria. I saw Jai Isaiah for sure. Jai Isaiah being is who I see after Hurricane Maria. I never see Shakira.
There's never boots on the ground like
Where is
Jasiah.
that?
Jasiah, that was boots on the
The
ground.
woman saying that she the people are saying lies that from you before even reach you start lying already.
Well, forget about Mom Séwyè.
Yeah.
The people are supposed to nominate you.
But yes, the post office is a
Yeah, the post office has a problem.
serious
There's a problem.
issue that needs addressing.
Yeah.
It needs addressing.
Yeah.
I telling him I will forget that she's only strong on paper.
Right now it's about we the people, we are representing the people.
Yes.
That's
Right.
Maggie. Now you talking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we, that's why I'm telling you, Maggie, me are representing you now. I go into the post office tomorrow and check the Postmaster General to ask them, what is it sin? What is the problem and how can we fix it? Let's fix it because it's important. I have to send things to my mother in France. We have ships to send for people Alaska and things. We have to fix that.
That have to be solved.
Yeah, man.
You cannot be ripping off pop. You happen the VAT man they want in the post office.
No, it's not. Madness.
It's a scheme to get VAT.
And we still paying, and we still paying the
What is
post.
a scheme to pay VAT?
Tell you the scene enough well. Government not doing
Plus
what they supposed
20%
to
rent
do.
tax again.
Protest,
Hit the
demonstrate.
streets. Hit the
Boots
streets.
on the ground.
So with the people representation, and this is how we're doing it. So that is one issue. The post office people, we're going to deal with that. I'm going to update you as to what is the,
Post office.
you know?
We want to deal with post office.
Yeah.
We want to deal with the rogue government.
Yeah, well, piece by piece, all different section.
One thing is according to bombs. We go wash land. And then we can fix post office, we can fix all other institutions. You cannot fix no institution under those corrupt people, man. So you have to forget the institution and
Hold
deal
on.
with where the corruption is.
On the Labour Party, stop
Forget post office.
On the Labour Party, stamp stop sticking them. You have to staple fucking stamp. pardon my language, on the Labour Party is simple production of a stamp to lick and stick. Labour Party fuck that up.
I think this sponge your water away.
I know we are staples. We using staples. We come modernized now.
I think this sponge the water.
We use staples. That fella so violent.
No, you have to
This
buy-
guy is so violent. They're using staples. You know why they're using staples? You know why they're using staples and not glue on the stamp? When you put glue on the stamp and you stick it on the paper, to take up that stamp on the paper, it must damage. But with staples, it's easy to take out the staples and take off the stamp, put another one on it. That's it. Change the date, change the process. So that's what I'm telling you, Maggie, forget this guy. We
Yeah,
have
man.
to deal with the rogue government.
Yeah, man, I agree.
It's the rogue system we have to deal with. Force the police to do their work properly.
Definitely.
That is why we have to go at the police station, not at post office. At the police station to force the police to do their work properly. If they don't know their constitution, we will start reading it for them. We'll have to open a classroom in the canteen.
Of course.
We'll have to put a classroom in the canteen. We
For
come
sure.
and buy water
Yeah, we put a
and we start
blackboard.
reading the constitution in the canteen.
Yeah, until we get a blackboard erected.
I mean, come on.
Okay, that have to be a classroom. We have to start somewhere.
Yes, we know it's because it's clear that the politicians and them, the people and them are not interested in educating the youths, the future, and to come and take the position, the rightful position, as we go along with the cycle. It's a cycle. You have people come in and you have people go in. You're supposed to go, move up, while people come and fill in your spot, but then you blocking. You're blocking up by not giving them the knowledge that they need with the civics in the school. And so they will not do it. They remove it, like you say. Whatever, when they remove it in the 80s, they remove it. We need it back. And we have to get it back.
We realize if you take
So
out
that
civics in school,
our youths and them,
it's at the best increase.
we cannot play the game. Our youths cannot come in the game. Our youths cannot come in the game without knowing the rules of the game.
Classes, education.
That is segment.
Accuracy
Come
of
on.
our government. We need to see the money all you and MMC have. We want it back, please.
Yeah, you know what I mean. We just speak about the
Hold it,
ills
hold it.
that has been done by the
I'll listen.
government.
Yes, but yes.
We have the same thing.
Yes.
And I told him, man, missing parts, president. Professor, missing parts.
You know, so there are things that we have done. You know, we have looked at the issues in terms of what has been done that Labour Party should be booted out for.
Yes, sir.
And we have made a list of different things that we, over time, as time going by, we'd like to discuss. You know, so I feel tonight we could just browse for the list and get acquainted to a few of the topics that will be coming up in time. You know, so we have a performance analysis of Labour Party-led government. And one of the first things we have on the agenda is accountability and transparency.
Oh, major one that.
You know, so under accountability and transparency, one of the very first things we have is procurement of construction works. MMCE has sole privilege to no bid contracts of all CBI projects. Well, I didn't say all, but CBI housing projects.
It's a little louder for them, please.
Yeah. Unconstitutionally reallocating and spending $1.2 billion amounting to misappropriation of funds.
Yes, sir.
Unconstitutional loan of over $100 million from the NBD. Unaccounted funding of $10 million to the Kalinaru people. China Dominica MOU.
Yes.
And the
These are-
MMCU MOU too.
Yes, wow, yes. You know, and then we have Section 2, which is the Citizen by Investment Program.
revenue of the CBI goes to?
The revenue of the CBI program goes to an escrow account which is unconstitutional.
That's how you do your work.
You know, reporting on revenues and overall quantity of citizenship sold is inaccurate and misleading. Sale of citizenship to known and internationally wanted criminals
And convicted criminals too.
yes, such as Ali Reza Monfared, Izani, Alison Maduki,
That partner they
rest of
get
them.
Paris
Yes, Paris and Barbados.
from Barbados.
And many others.
My son, mercy, boy.
These are just
You know, so that is a list
That
we
is
had
few.
we did a while back. Because look, we even have Colin McIntyre as a sitting minister of government was made into a developer under the CBI program, the Sanctuary Rainforest Eco Resort and Spa, which is unethical and illegal. So that is a hotel development on the
Where does hotel
CBI
been-
program.
Where does hotel has been built in
In the
Aparo?
valley.
Sorry for cutting you short.
Just
The
going
valley.
Between Thing
On
and
whose property?
Midland Falls side there.
Midland Falls.
Before
On whose
Midland.
property?
Load us up.
Providence. That's in the
For the economy.
We have the economic situation in Dominica. An economic system whose mainstay is citizen by investment program. A program which only serves a few persons, yet the entire government system is geared towards serving the CBI. Therefore creating extreme inequality in wealth distribution and creation. Now I have an example of that in Newtown because saying that they're just bringing something to mind. We have Duncan's store over there that was able to spend $5 million in CBI money in Newtown. As the parent how much money she spent during the election in Newtown, if we coming close to that. So if we cannot understand, it's only a few that benefiting while the majority suffering, while that program has to be stopped. One man cannot earn $5 million from the CBI. That in direct view of people. And then the rest of us getting 2 galvanized, 2 plywood, and one man make $5 million
And
on
that-
our sale of our assets.
Yeah, and that's 5 million. I don't say we don't take in employment.
Not enough by
But
far.
thank you very much.
It's not worth it
Just,
investment.
just impossible.
After Hurricane Maria,
We'll do that, Syria.
yeah.
there has been a construction boom from having 95% of buildings destroyed and damaged, hence creating an environment of great economic opportunities. And that is true. We have clearly seen the boom in the construction industry since Maria. However, the billions of dollars raised in construction and executed in Dominica has not gone to the Dominican people.
So therefore Dominicans
At present, what we have in the United States, the president trying to negotiate an infrastructure package of $2 trillion to get the American people back to work. Instead, we take our money to get the Lucians back to work, to get the Chinese back to work, to get the Bajans back to work. So we have examples in our eyes as to what we're saying. It is not just nonsense and just saying it.
No mad. We're not
It's
mad people.
facts on the ground.
Would you forget all that? They get Dominica strong too.
Dominica Strong is a fraud.
After Ricky.
Dominica Strong more fraudulent.
Don't worry. This guy, I will continue.
All right. A $64,000 a month rental for the PM in an economy which is struggling, especially at a time of a world pandemic outbreak. The economic lockdowns were implemented.
Boy,
And the situation of
we just
today,
spoken about that.
the situation of today,
What are we now, friends?
no, the bus driver,
Yeah, one man at a time.
the bus driver situation is directly related to that $64,000 house. Because the World Bank, the IMF, the World Bank give us money for COVID relief. And the man put that as a loan in the bank that none of us could afford. Money that we were supposed to get. and the economy, the taxes on the economy supposed to pay it back. Instead, he wanted to take it out of our back one time. Apartments, hospital and CBI projects being outsourced to foreign firms. Local economic resources in architects, engineers and construction industry is not get towards local and the enhancement of local capacity. Inflation of government project costs, effectively defrauding the state of revenue. Example, the CBI housing project. Low income housing at $400,000. $400,000 in the credit union is $3,800.
Where $400,000 for them? You are defrauding this kid.
No, we in the ministry working for a salary that can pay that amount on a normal basis.
You know I tell you, man,
And then
the price of $400,000 in the credit union is $3,800 a month for 30 years.
Right.
A grand total of $1.4 million.
What is the average salary?
The average salary is $600 NEP style.
The salary is $1,000
forward,
$1,072.
$800 is the average salary.
for something over.
No,
For something over there.
$1,072.
Okay, let us go with the professor. Let us go with the professor
If
statistics.
you look on it,
So Tola, you and your girlfriend together in a household cannot afford low income housing.
At all.
So only $2,000, still $1,800 short
Yeah.
of low income housing in Dominica.
because even when you take that loan, that mortgage, you still have to survive it. So you need $3,000 and change just to pay the bank on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
But you still need to pay
You don't eat
your food, your transportation,
If you are children,
you have to pay rent, not rent, but you have to pay light,
Yeah.
water, all your utilities.
Transportation.
feed your children.
Hey, all your constitution in the camp over there, man. No, you got constitution for you camp.
Yeah.
I saw stuff on you camp. Hey, come back here, boy.
Come.
You got constitution for you camp, my brother. Pass that around and read that. And discuss that among yourself, my
If you
brother.
have any matters, all you need to have
Back to the
And we testimony on it.
Yeah.
yeah. Hey, test coming next week Friday, a written test. Alright. Lack of economic growth opportunities for locals, especially the youth. Minimum wage of $37.50 requires adjustment to the present economic situation. Well, that's breaking down to $4.05 an hour.
I join 1,000 something at the end of the month. That kind of money. $800 I join at the end of the month.
Yeah, that's not an average salary.
Some people get it.
Remember the average salary has scary salary in it, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So that making it go up to 1,000 because scary salary in it to divide amongst the numbers.
Yeah, but remember, we have to understand the basic salary calculation starts at whatever, $4 or whatever.
Yes.
Your qualification or
Yes, but the average salary when the government
like your basic, like the government. Okay. One day
that does
I-
not make it complicated. The
No, no,
government
no.
said the average salary is $1,000. All the statistics
So
have
that-
to be based on what the government saying, not what we feel we want to say.
So that is why he give Thomas Ritter and them only worker, the cleaners, and because them people there was making $1,000 in the ministry.
Well, that's what the average salary working out to, my brother. All salaries in Dominica.
He paying salary.
All salaries in Dominica added together divided by the amount average is $1,000. Point blank, my brother. Point blank. The average cost of construction $290. Point blank. Government business, my brother. Let's not make it complicated. Poor management of the tourism sector. Destruction and dismantling of the banana and agricultural industry in Dominica. General abandonment of the manufacturing and agricultural sector and very low agricultural exports and exports in general. Policies which do not support innovation and industry, causing further hardships to the citizens. And that is the economic situation that the government administration has placed us in. Number 4, health system. The implementation of the National Health Commission, contractual arrangement for hospital staff and hospital board members. That is what the Labour Party delivering to enhance our medical care. Short-term contracts for nurses. For everybody, not just nurses, doctors and nurses. Everybody. Lack of job security somehow going to lead to better health care. Lack of opportunities on the job going to lead to better health care. So, in the Ministry of Agriculture, agricultural person can get a scholarship and go overseas and further their studies because they have a secure appointed job. But a nurse cannot get that opportunity to be appointed and further education under the government system. That is what Labour Party bringing to the nurse, to the healthcare system. Lack of resources directed towards the functioning and medical upkeep of the hospital and the people who access the hospital, who assess the hospital. Rehabilitation and renaming of the Princess Margaret Hospital, which is not a hospital based on the fact that it does not have, which is not a hospital based on the fact that it has no dental services, a function which is required to be classified as a general hospital, and the renaming the facility to the Dominica China Friendship Hospital.
Totally ass hospital of the ass.
What is true a state of the ass hospital, because in recent time that national player get himself into an accident and
We're still raising funds.
we still have to raise funds to send him overseas
Still raising
with a
funds.
state of the art hospital. We still have to go by medicals to pay double the amount for a scan. The state of the empty.
They didn't say what much you say they say they are of the house high tech. So high.
Number 5, sporting. Sporting. From Dominica, the sporting facilities are insufficient and dilapidated. In general, Roseau Central constituency, only public sporting facility is the basketball court at Bath Road. An insufficient proportion of sporting availability to the population of Roseau, which is a human right that was established by Team X, which is an establishment of planning codes adopted by the United Nations. Well, we see they putting on 2 basketball court and a tennis court outside the stadium now.
Will it be accessible to the public?
I try to.
The stadium is not accessible to the public.
Nobody
Will it be accessible to the public?
I still try to do what they do because I don't see that I don't sit in accommodation.
And that's not even. But
Yeah,
I
I
don't
look
know
at
them.
They put in bleachers.
Boy, you see that government?
Them concrete thing them and building.
Let me tell you something. Let me show you how waste of time that government really be and people in Dominica need to get the act together. You see the children that go into Dominica Grammar School and Dominica Voodoo School, they need to come out and speak in. Them man come in and talk about protocol for this pandemic and that pandemic, and you have children putting in portable toilet, boy.
No,
Huh?
I can never.
In Dominica Grammar School, boy. In portable toilet, children put in one pin, boy. Huh? Boy, let me tell you something, boy.
That can never be
We
sanitary.
need to put our act together.
That can never be sanitary. My brother, you mad. How many children are
That's why I tell Valerie, that's why when Maggie tell Valerie, that's a pay truth, you bother like so. You want to tell people about act and this. I tell me somebody will not hear you.
The problem is that when they leave work, they doesn't go and spend half an hour.
Don't come and tell nobody about COVID-19, boy. Boy, best they don't tell nobody about COVID-19 in Dominica and children using portable toilet at school.
No, boy, that can't be right. And we have billions of dollars.
Boy,
We have billions of dollars here.
boy, would you read it for
Especially
them,
to
man?
invest in sports. Okay, back to sports.
Yeah, back to school.
There are communities without sporting
That's all you own.
That's all you own.
That's all you own. Read that, share that.
And discuss.
When you bring it back fast, what happen? All of all you read it already, man.
No, all you own. That's for the group.
Or you educate all yourself. You just sit down there and do educate all yourself. There are communities without sporting facilities, or where facilities do not respond to the size and distribution of the community. Example, Kingshill, Fonkole, and many other communities in the place. But I want to just go back to the stadium and the courts outside the stadium and what they're doing. My people, those courts outside this stadium, for the people that want to say the government doing a great job, we as a people need to stop accept mediocrity as a great job. And all we are seeing is mediocrity being praised as a great job outside of the stadium. We have schools that do not have basketball courts, and these are things that should be in schools, as I just read. Look at our Newtown playing field. That cannot. Why the government haven't seen it fit to put bleachers in Newtown on the field?
Communities, not even
You understand?
Put back lights.
You understand?
What's that? Yes, your physical well-being is a human right thing. You check. Them thing has been established in planning, coding, my brother. That is why when you're making if you go and establish a community or any housing development, it has to go to planning, so planning can ensure that it has sporting facility, recreational facilities, and so on to the general public. Because your spirituality, your physical well-being is a human right. You check, these things have been established internationally under urban regulation, planning division. You check, the whole mandate of the planning division is to safeguard the public interest. You check, and these things is what the planning allowed for Roseau to stay many years without no sporting facility, which is craziness. How you allowing them to? You check me. So
professional.
The government department of planning in itself has already failed the general public of the
failed their mandate.
Yes.
Now let us continue. Number 6, the political system. How has Labour Party fared as an organization in the political development of Dominica? Okay. So we have the importation of voters and unrestricted spending with no accountability as source of funds, along with general voter violation in regards to the registration and residence of voters. Dismantling of the integrity in public office. The non-implementation of a parliamentary commissioner. The politicization of state organs such as village councils, community day of service, and every other distribution of departments and solely and every order and the distribution
for politicizing state organs such as village councils and community day of service, MP and entourage dressing Labour Party paraphernalia, red shirts with Labour Party slogans, and every order distribution of apartments solely to Labour Party supporters as a reward for supporting the party, bullying the population into supporting Labour Party if they would like to get state support, granting of state contracts to family and friends along with Labour Party operatives, nepotism, avoidance of electoral reform, the issuing of 14 acres of land, forest reserve, which is part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site, to the Kempinski Hotel development, while the state has no vested interest in such a development. Head of government is a French citizen, which is unconstitutional. No consultation with opposition on matters of constitutional requirements. Misleading the public as to the function of the opposition to persecution and prosecution for having realized their mandated functions. Then we have culture. General low self-confidence of the populace, evidence through how the people interact and carry themselves. Increase in crime and violence, especially violent crime, 14 murders per year. In a country where in the 90s they used to have like what, 5 murders, 4 murders, 6 murders for the most. The general increase of poverty throughout the country. Since our resources have been exploited for the gain and benefit. Since our resources have been exploited for the gain and benefit of foreign individuals and firms, with a few local individual involvement, we as resident citizens have been turned into second-rate citizens of our own land. A government whose policies are catered towards foreigners over locals. No protection in the advancement of our local culture and heritage, with a general loss of the Dominican identity. Example, our architecture being developed by foreign firms and no local architects. So we have all these clinics, all these apartments being designed by foreign architects. It does not represent that local architecture, that local artistic work, our local representation of our jalousie, our different architectural elements, you know, the style of roof, the different styles, the stonework, you check. All this is local.
Yeah, and that not giving our locals the opportunity to enhance their skills.
Yes, you check.
And then as you mentioned that it's up in the beautiful community of Trafalgar. When you're going up Trafalgar, you go by the falls there.
Yeah.
You're going up there, you're in the Zion, and then you see a big piece of kind of a monumental kind of building there, concrete kind of thing there.
Yeah.
You see the community, you know what I mean, built by them Chinese, again, Chinese.
And it's not representing the local.
Yeah, so yeah man, it just suit in the place.
Yeah, it's not representing. That is not a thing you go see. No more, you check. Now we're moving on. We have naming of buildings after unknown trade deals such as Dominica-China friendship. You can name a hospital after Dominica-China friendship, or bridge Dominica-China friendship. So these are things we have to look at, you know, and we have lack of national heroes. Where are our national heroes? Where are the people that our youth should be looking up to?
Yeah, man.
You know, so
Back to the
no monument, no nothing.
We are lost nation and we don't know what it is.
Instead we're talking about Dominica-China friendship.
And then it's still lonely.
Yes, wait. Something
We
wrong.
have to pay back them cards there, what friendship.
We passing Chubby, our youth and them passing Chubby. Big man passing Chubby and they don't know Chubby from Midnight Groovers, my brother. A legend. A living legend, Chubby from Midnight Groovers, you know.
Now we continue. We have victimization and bullying of citizens through the politicizing of state resources, further dividing us, the citizens. For example, right here in Newtown, we have a Newtown Roseau South Labour Party constituency office, which is still a government assistant office. How is that? Oh.
Madness.
politics,
That's not going to go
political
away.
party and government mixing in one.
That's supposed to be
Same
defined.
stuff,
That's supposed
same
to be
thing.
defined.
And here it is, we know that politics, political party and government not supposed to be mixed
Not
like
at all.
that. Yes,
So Pyro, therefore we're supposed to know what is the government and what is the political.
yes. Because they serving two different purposes. A government serving everybody.
Yeah.
A political party,
Support-
therefore it's
supporters, followers.
What you telling me there, brother? We have a double-edged snake in
Yes, because they bullying the people, they dividing us,
us.
they dividing us, they bullying us, you check. Because it have people that will not go to that office
Yes.
just because they're not supporting Labour Party.
And their pride.
You check, and that's a government office.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a government office
we
that's
don't
supposed to be
care, Labour.
providing assistance
We don't
to
care, Labour.
everybody in Dominica.
We don't feel
You check or at least in Roseau South constituency.
One Labour Party office is right there. What it should be.
It's showing you that it is there for labor rights and not for everybody. So it causing discrimination.
If I do red eye.
Yes, it causing discrimination and victimization. And then police brutality in enforcing this regime's autocratic and totalitarian rule. And we saw that today. Many of us have been victims of police brutality. I myself have been a victim of police brutality on more than one occasion.
Just recently, yeah.
And today, it was just too
Oh.
blatant and obvious to see. For you to tell me 7, 8 police
If I was there, I'd
on
probably be in jail on
7, 8 police on one man.
Yeah.
One man,
One man.
7, 8 police. And it's not like the police trying to exercise their lawful position
Duty, yeah.
as police officers, you know, to restrain a man, arrest him, and take him before the magistrate court. They were not trying to do that, you know. You could clearly see the police were behaving like thugs and criminals, kicking up and punching an individual.
Yeah, man,
When you're
that's
supposed
a-
to be trying to restrain this man.
Yeah.
If you're going to arrest someone, it's to restrain him and take him into custody and put him in the cell. And when the time comes, take him to the court so he could be judged.
Yeah, man.
You check?
That's like
But when you
animal.
behaving like
Treat him like an animal.
kicking up
Like
a
a
man,
wild bull.
punching a man, and then you an individual, after you mean to tell me you have 7 police officers doing that, punching and kicking a man, you still have one other officer come and shoot the individual.
What is that for me now, boy? I record that, yeah, man.
Police brutality.
Yeah, man.
my brother.
Let me tell you that.
That pass.
Even before that same policeman, even before the same policeman kicked the man, brother, it looked like the policeman have a personal problem in this stuff. Because if you have to arrest a man, you don't go and put a handcuff in your hand like it's a knuckle thing to knock, to box something, man. You put the handcuff in your hand like you have to protect your knuckle to hit the man up, boy.
What?
Boy, you try to do, boy.
What?
And after another policeman have the man well locked down like that, instead you put the handcuff on the man's hand, you still try to choke the man in his neck again, boy.
Yeah, man, malice.
That's wicked intention,
Yes,
boy.
malice, my brother. Wicked
It's like
intention.
we have a personal problem with the man, my boy.
So
But
they-
if it's a personal
they not-
problem you have with me, well, let me tell you something.
They're not doing their
Put on your
duties.
gun. If Mr. so bad, if that policeman so bad, you not that like Mr. to do. I tell you tomorrow I go to my traffic, you know. And I can tell Mr. if he's a bad man, put down your gun and come. If he's a bad man, put down your gun and come.
You're supposed to carry out your duties professionally as police officers. You restrain a man and you take him into custody. You cannot want to violate the individual rights. And the man has rights. We all have
Right,
rights.
yeah, man.
You check. So when these things happen, we as a society supposed to come together and stand against it. You check. We cannot stand, and that is what that was sad about today. A lot of people there with their cameras and so, and not coming together and stand against the police. You check, because
Yeah.
we're supposed to come together and stand against the police
Yeah,
in
man.
support of the
Of course.
individual. because his rights were clearly violated.
Yeah, man.
Clearly,
Trampled upon.
clearly violated.
Was
but
trampled
it
upon.
was trampled upon,
Yeah, man.
disrespected. That was an insult
Animal,
to
like
any human being.
the animal, it
Them man trying to take away your dignity from you.
treat him,
Yeah.
you treat the man like an animal, brother.
Anyway.
Apparently, you kick his dog like that, they want to eat you.
But it's true, guys.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
watch him and telling me a man treated.
Oh,
And
no,
the man brother is a police,
he was present.
It's right there.
and he was right there.
We continuing education. For transitioning of the educational system from British to American with the evolution of common entrance to the grade 6 assessment exams and the universal education system, which has been poorly implemented, hence diminishing the students' concepts of merit, dignity and pride. Okay. So this whole thing of no student left behind and so on, and everybody goes to high school and everybody supposed to be an academic. It's not working, it's not functioning.
That kind of be.
We are not all blessed with the same talents. We are all blessed, but not with the same talents. There are those of us that will be academics and there are those of us that will be artisans. Trained with our hands and skilled with our hands. We cannot have one cap to fit all. All these secondary schools are academically inclined. That cannot work, you know.
And we have to fix that.
Yes, people sit in a grade 6 assessment, and at the end of the day, what is the use of the assessment?
I understand. I told them really and truly, if everybody going to go anyway.
And every home.
Yeah, but imagine our sister that is a teacher for more than let's just put and right now she's teaching in a secondary school. And every day the complaint is children in secondary school kind of they don't even have
But anyway, let's go to sad. The absence of a remedial system in place of poor performing students. So they took away the GSP student system and nothing ever replaced it. There are no layers in the educational system. No curriculum advancement to respond to the fourth industrial revolution along with our socio-economic needs. And it's the same thing, our socio-economic needs. We are the training schools, we train the students to be mechanics, we train the students to be carpenters, we train the students to be masons, the whole artisans, to be artisans, you know, because these are artisans. You check, so where is this function in our society? You know, and it's something that is needed. Because all now with all the development, all the so-called construction and all the things, our youth should have been trained and be employed, you know, and be gainfully employed, you know, and set on a track, on a path to be responsible citizens in our nation. And as we continue, we go on to the airport, the creation of a fit airport development fund. Lack of local input into the development of an international airport. No capacity of locals in the planning and execution of the international airport. So, the airport in itself, again, it's like a lot of the other projects. Foreigners, no local input, no nothing. These white elephants, you check, they are white elephants. That is the architectural term. White elephants in modern, postmodern architecture, where you used to have these white elephants, elements just inserted into societies that it does not respond to the culture, it does not respond to the socio-economical development of the people within the the society. So these are things that we really have to deal with. You check me? And then lastly, we have the judiciary. Delay of court matters beyond reasonable time. No education on how the judiciary system functions. One is forced to learn through experience. Officers of the court unwilling to apply the law impartially. You know, so the judiciary in itself is just a basket case. Because we have a lot of nonsense happening. A lot. Too much. You know. I mean, you see magistrates, judges facilitating these police officers by granting them search warrants on no evidence.
Yeah.
Check.
Yeah.
And all this type of things, you're facilitating this corruption. You check this abuse of authority when the judiciary is the one that's supposed to be stamping out this abuse of authority and corruption. So we have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, man.
A lot of work to do. And we have to hit it hard.
Yeah, man.
We cannot just go about this like this is a joke thing. We have to hit this thing hard
Yeah,
from
man.
all angles. So we need everybody on board. The entire society have to get in the program. Education is the fundamental aspect to it. Applying that education is of a greater importance. Because there are some of us in the society that know and have the education, but we do not apply it, we do not share it, we do not allow that education to impact on our society.
Yeah, man.
And we need to
Teach
allow
one,
our
teach one.
education
Yeah.
to impact our society, to impact our decisions. We have to go forward with a basic education standing and civics, this understanding of our constitution, this understanding of our rights. This is why we brought about the book, the topic of the book of Ali Clarence, our constitution, our government, and you. It is a book that deals with the constitution, the government, and you as an individual within that society, within that environment. You know, so we have to have that knowledge to impact that knowledge, allow that knowledge, allow our knowledge to influence who we are, to influence what we do. And it's important for our development as individuals and for our society as a whole. And it is even written in the book, Ali Clarence himself says that the society cannot develop without the enlightenment of the people of the society. Knowing the constitution. You check it.
And I go back.
You Pyro, you cannot play a football, you can't play a football and you know the laws of the football game.
Yes.
You not be a good player.
Exactly.
That's why the catastrophe the last time when they call it.
So to be living in a country and don't know the laws of the country, it is bad. A lot of people are living in ignorance because they don't know the laws of the country.
So you always have to make it clear now. Now, the thing about it is, let's say you have the game going on. What happens? When the academy coming up, you're not teaching them youths the laws of the game now. So when they going, as they going up and learning, when they get involved in, if you know, with their club, now they know the rules. So it cannot be any different with our life and our country right now. You can't be coming up and nobody teaching you the rules in school about the game.
Yeah.
So when you reach big man and think so, you in the game without knowing the rules, you lose. You're going to lose because you're going to do a certain macaque with yourself. And that is why today when the man say, all you, exactly, that's why today the man say, all you fellas brave. I say, no, we don't brave. We know the rules of the game.
And then you go in.
So we have confidence in what we're doing. And we speak with confidence because we know the rule of the game. So when we stand up in front of the police station, on the public road, in front of the public constitution belong to all of us. We do it with confidence because we know the rules of the game. And nobody cannot come and talk cautiously for us and try and frighten us girls to come close there and what do you do in front there and What you talking about?
The police station is public place.
So we want everybody to understand. If you want,
Then go for injustice.
yeah man, you see Moun Séwyè, and we are going about what we're doing with confidence is because we are educating ourselves and we are trying to teach everyone. Because everybody know that's the key to it. Educate yourself, learn the thing, and then you learn how to apply it. So it's clear. And that book there, beautiful, my brother. And you see the printer over there. The printer over there. I don't think they're going to have a record sales of Constitution right now. We are going to get. You're going to say off a steady. We're coming for by the cartoons.
And we promoting the sale of that
Yeah,
book
man.
of Al Quran also.
You can thank us. Yeah, pass a thing on us.
Only fundamentals in it.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Freedom of expression, freedom of assembly and
Yeah,
association,
man.
freedom of movement.
Yeah, man.
It's all there. In
And what I like with the book,
protection from discrimination.
what I like with the book is when you go in when you read in the Constitution. I mean, it's normal, you have all sorts of, aforesaid and, for the little man not to understand that.
Yes.
That is clear cut. Yeah, that is clear cut.
Yes.
That is
The language has been broken down for the layman to be able to
that
understand.
is drinking our sous water rather than going and drink the hot prepared water.
No. What we want to challenge, the challenge you want to send out there to other people that are seeing the movement and they supporting it and they saying it's a good movement. We need you all to assist. You don't have to be in the front like us, but you know what? You see the Constitution there? You can do something virtual and get the parents, put something in place to get the parents and the to get their kids and them virtually so everybody can come on Zoom or whatever on live, do it online, but have a weekly or whatever
Yeah, man,
of the Constitution.
In their community.
Yes, I.
Check. They have community centers.
Yes.
Prayer community centers who meeting at their homes. You check.
Yeah,
who
man.
have clubs, who have
Yes.
different things.
Yes.
So, all these things.
Yes.
A club supposed
Yeah, man.
to be not just about sports, but
no.
also the development of you as an individual.
Definitely.
So all that is part of the activity
Yeah, man.
that the club can partake in.
Yeah, man.
You check. So all the sports clubs, you check, these are activities that they could engage the members of the club. You check communities. You check people at their homes, their little neighborhoods. You can get together, discuss the same way we doing now. You check, you can come together, 5, 10, how many of you, how many it can be, read, discuss, the same way we go in Bible class, to church.
Yes, I.
That's the Bible studies we have.
Yes,
That's
right
what
now you have to come to your societal
Yeah,
studies,
yes, sir.
which is based on your constitution.
Yeah, man. Now the church want to divide us.
So we're placing the challenge. You see how all the concerned lawyers and the different people come out with a different vibe. We want to see that the Constitution. We want to see something
Because
come
the
out of that.
forefront.
Because we're doing what we're doing, and trust me, we don't spread ourselves thin. We want to concentrate on what we're doing with the awareness right now. But we need help. So we need other people to take that part of it. Spread the word.
Like
Each one,
what
each
we're
one.
going to have to do. Moun Séwyè as an organization, we'll have to make chapters and disseminate the information.
Yeah, man.
And get different people to really spearhead the vibes in the different communities. Yes,
I think we understand.
moving
people in
forward,
every
I think we
country.
really have to concentrate on organizing on a level where we can disseminate and oversee certain things.
So we need understand people in every constituency. And that core of the 10 people is to disseminate the whole aspect of Moun Séwyè forward toward the Constitution and the guidelines.
Definitely.
Out of that, my brother, imagine that is area, 210 people. The 210 people come together on a board to discuss the activities of, our way forward and how we should enlighten our constituents. So, when we start with that, it is obvious that if every individual can influence at least 2 to 5 people to get read that same book of Allegory, you know, the Constitution, at least we will have a good start for you know what we need within discussing the fact of the people within every constituency getting to know that something is drastically wrong.
Yeah, man, once we can achieve that, then we're gonna be on the right track. The mindset of the people, this is what needs to be changed to the point that you need to take. Take ownership of the country. It belongs to all of us, and you need to understand how it's run so that you can point out when you see push-on happening and know your rights, know, you know what I'm saying, and move with confidence.
After 3 months, you guarantee a paycheck because you've been there. After 3 months,
I even though we start that August, let us start a poll. We're going to start to enlighten our people. Let's see, we got the same thing, you know. We got the start, the format. We're going to constituency.
Wow.
So you see, like on that day, we're coming together to know what are the plans we can put together so that we can develop the youth, you know, in the same aspect we got sport, whatever aspect we have to do with clarification of the Constitution. Bro, our health, you know, because at the end of the exercise, it is not just, for instance, the same thing we're talking about, creating the knowledge aspect, the maybe and not executing it. You understand? Now, first to execute it, you have to go, it's like in the Woodlum sense. We have to be like the, how they say, the Temites, you know? So we have to come and we have to start to really dig into the constituency to make the youth be aware of it. Bro, 20 years of any individual life that have been wasted. Yeah. My brother, that is gross insult to humanity. You understand?
Trust me.
Remember, in that same book way, I'll tell you,
Girl.
you have that right of development within the country, and it's the government that affording you that. You have right to strike, you have right to demonstrate, you have right to protest, you have right to go to the street.
Right there.
Yeah. Remember, you have to know that the government is always your servant.
Yes, sir.
And you have to start to speak to the government and the public servants and let them know, hear your phrase, you are a public servant. You are not my boss. So when those fools come in and just want to make utterances like I do, and every word from their mouth is law. The Constitution states that when you open your boat and it is not in conjunction with the Constitution, it is null and void.
Exactly.
And we have to get to understand those things. These things
Ministers not supposed to be in charge of
at all. Scary not supposed to be in charge of money by no means whatsoever. At all. But there again,
three lawbreakers are going on in the country.
The man telling it to you.
Lawbreakers alone we have in the country.
We have to be serious about that thing there.
I tell all the pyro,
At the end of
police
the day,
station we have to go by it.
we have to make sure them guys have to educate.
The people have to go by study.
But at the end of the day, I feel it's embarrassing.
There is the rule.
For
The
police,
population.
yeah, man.
With the
For
population.
commissioner to be that low in mental capacity, I think it's an atrocity. Yeah, man.
Yeah, within the people
Yeah, man.
security.
Yeah, man. We have to go in the consequences, yeah.
And that's the way to go with it. People,
Yeah, man. Now I
learn
tell you,
the rules
we stand
that
by that
govern
10
you.
format. Yeah, man. That 10 format. We go there in constituency. We have a group of, we have a core of 10 people. We know at least. It's like when we can keep our meetings. At least we know we have a thing that can be established by the time we enter. You know, in every constituency, we take care of that. You know this time, so that will just keep you.
Yeah, man, so people we're gonna do it, so we're gonna do it together, we want more people to come on
Now
board.
is the time, now is the time. We can't waste
Don't be
20
afraid.
years of our life and at the end of the day take it for a joke.
Yeah, man, for our youths and them, coming up,
Yeah,
With
man.
the G and them coming up, and we have to make sure the place irie for them so they can have fun like how we had fun.
You understand?
So it can't be a thing where you struggle, if you can buy a bicycle tomorrow because
After all.
you say no, you go in school, you finish school, you go high school, finish high school and you're still there. You go and buy the next thing, you buy the beef and then you wash your eye washing cars,
You
Like,
understand?
we always going to buy the washing cars, I think them little powders to make a fast to buy a thing because they think
Oh, you go.
I want a young man telling
My
me.
brother, I'm different every day.
Yeah,
Yeah, man, religiously, bro.
Hurt me, my brother.
Religiously.
Oh, you mad, bro.
And don't see, one thing I can tell you, right? That youth, man, I think, take that ordeal of asking people for a job for about a year.
Mhm.
And every time he come to me, I keep encouraging him to try to win a trade. I normally sell him by, a garage or, this type of thing. Because, bro, I can never forget once, I go to Blue Bay. They say Dominicans don't like to go. The same Chinese have a container to upload. And my brother, how many little fellas there to upload the container before the custom officer? How you telling me the children don't? You're not providing anything for
For
them.
them, that's it.
Yeah, to gear their mind towards working.
At the end of the exercise, bro, let me tell you, man, look at the nowadays when we are just with school. Bro, you could see, boy, I do my okay with a wireless. Boy, I do my job in government. I do my job DCP. You know this type of thing. Bro, that environment there.
And the kid, and like Pyro say, when the people and them, you have to get their minds to work. So if you have a team and you're coaching the team, if it's not doing good, we're checking the coach,
No, boy, what you tell you?
The coach they're watching, not the coach is firing.
First person to go.
The coach. So you the head managing things. If the people and them not,
Bro.
it's because you not doing a good job. You can say they're in trees or whatever. You have to do your job. It cannot be all. You have to find those. But there are those.
But the key thing
Put in the
again now,
place.
the people that are employing you to do the job have to know what it entails for you to do your job. And they have to know when you're not doing your job properly. And in logic, you have to be fired. You have to,
These people are doing that time with their own job, Rasta. That is it. Why is the problem? It's the fundamental problem.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, I feel
Yeah, man.
like we should call it a night.
Yeah, man.
But anyways, going forward, we'll be drawing some references to Mr. Ali Torrance and his book.
Oh, sure.
And
Oh,
some
sure.
of the things that we have outlined so far. So
yeah.
for the next weeks,
It's very important.
we'll be discussing these things, So
There's a book of
Yes.
scrutinize.
let us try to educate ourselves as much as we can. Let us allow that education to impact our lives, impact our decisions, how we go forward and what we are going to do. Because in democracy we need education. So people, let's get on the ball. Let's educate ourselves, educate as much persons as you can, encourage them to read, encourage them. Those that cannot read, assist them, read for them, guide them, help them. We check, we all need some level of help. We check. Yeah, and like Maggie say, each one.
Yeah,
One
boy.
for each and each for all.
Yeah, man.
It's written in our
National anthem.
national anthem.
Oh, yeah.
Everything is there for us,
Yeah, man.
Our ancestors, our elders, they prepared the place for us.
Oh, yeah.
And we allowed it to go down. Right now, we have to step it back up.
Yeah, man.
Fix it
Yeah,
now.
man. Yeah, man.
So let's move forward in a positive light and let's get it done, So with that, I'll say
to come together.
My closing remarks there is I just want to thank all the supporters, the support, the viewers, people and them that, making comments, sharing the life, sharing the vibes,
Yeah, man.
and continue to reach out to people and tell them there's a positive movement going on in Dominica. The Moun Séwyè movement, you know what I mean? And I seen it and I feeling it and people calling and they want to be part of the movement, we appreciate that. And what we want to do is it takes funding to make it thing work. You know what I mean? So we just want you to reach out 225-0002, that's the number. You know what I mean? And make a contribution. We have shirts on sale. You know what I mean? It's a contribution.
Bags.
Then we have bags. Paraphernalias, you know what I mean? When look at our proper P, when look at our own PA. When look at our own PA system, we already priced one by courtesy about $2,600. You know, because we borrow right now what we have is borrowing on our mission. So, you know, at any time the person can want the thing, want to have our own. And we want to have some more volume so we can really reach more people. So, you know, yeah man, big up and bless up everybody. One love.
Yeah,
Togetherness. Yeah man, bless up.
don't understand that